This is a debate from a few days ago between MoistCr1tikal Charlie and Sneako, talking about some odd things. From the clips that I've seen, it seems like Charlie did a very bad job. So I want to watch this thing the full way through. It's kind of long. I sped it up just a little bit because I did it at 2% or 2%. I did it at 2 times speed to start, and it felt like they were talking way too fast. So hopefully this is a good speed, so we can get through this brain rot, because this whole thing just feels wrong. This is a re-upload. I didn't feel like giving Sneako the clout. Didn't want to give him the views, the clout, like I have any clout. You get what I mean. I didn't want to give him the views on fucking Kick, so found a re-upload of it. Hopefully nothing's cut out, because I think this is flipped. Yeah, this is flipped around. And really quick, I just want to remind everyone to subscribe for a chance to be a winner in our 1,000 subscriber gift card giveaway. I know it seems kind of far away, but hey, all you gotta do is click a button. So come on, help me out and click subscribe.
I've been all right, man. How are things going on your end?
Things are going good. Every time I talk to you, I'm in some random country. Last time I was in Japan, I was standing outside of a club actually in Japan, and then I think you texted me, and I left the club, and I was just standing on the street underneath like some cherry blossom flowers at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty serene landscape. Actually, that was very cinematic.
It was a nice flowers, and I think people had this idea that I was an angry person, or maybe that's how you painted me. And then seeing me like walk around like with the nice flowers, like, oh, okay, this guy's he's not that red pill rage.
Hey man, I don't try and paint you as aggressive or anything, but your clips, you go ballistic.
Because man,
that's most people's impression.
I'm all clips, not mags, but things do get clipped out of context. You know, it's funny because people say like this is the biggest YouTube beef is us, and I haven't been on YouTube for the whole beef.
He's gonna die on this hill of clips, not mags, being like, hey bro, it's a hood thing, bro. You never been to the hood. Like, yeah, bro, I know people call him clips. He was just making fun of you.
Yeah, that's true. For the whole but like even outside of YouTube, you still have a massive platform. So like it's more internet beef, I suppose, that people mean to say.
Yeah, I know. Just some of that stuff bothers me. Like when Jinxie's like, "This is the biggest YouTube beef." Like I haven't been on YouTube for.
It's because you're a pussy coward and you let everything bother you rather than just moving on and trying to get a bag. You know, I know your whole thing is like, "Oh, I'm trying to change the world." Hey, bro, I want to change the world too, but. Got to do this one step at a time. You can't burn all your bridges and then be scared and confused while you're on an island alone. Like, kind of comes with the territory.
For the whole time. It is frustrating not being on platforms. Since then, I've lost more. Like, I'm in Turkey, people are like, what's your Instagram? I'm like, I have to explain, like, oh, the Zionists banned me. They called me dangerous, this stuff. I'm not allowed on these platforms. And then I have to imagine explaining to a Turkish guy what Rumble is.
Well, I mean, you just explain it's a streaming platform. I feel like that.
Oh yeah, he's not on Kick, he's on Rumble. I didn't even get the right platform right. Fuck Sneak. I'm just fucking around. I just find this whole conversation stupid. They're talking about the age of consent. I didn't say that in the beginning. They're going to talk about the age of consent and what it should be and how he thinks that there shouldn't be an age of consent and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, this whole thing is just fucking stupid.
Most people know what that is.
They're like, what's your YouTube? And they're like searching it up for kids, and they have to download the app, and then they try to watch my video. And
First, they have to talk about some Turkish guy wanting his Instagram account.
Gotta sign in, but it's I do like the challenge, but yeah. So let's talk about what we came to talk about.
Yeah, man. So with all of what's going on here, why are you so insistent on like the age of consent being like unreasonable? Or at least that's the impression most people gather from the way you speak about it.
That's a valid question, and I want to first ask, like, what's your issue with my opinion on the age of consent, age of marriage?
Because I feel like
I mean, really, what is your opinion? Because every time people ask you about it, you kind of just go, well, I developed age. Well, if you, what do you think it is? What you think it is wrong. You probably just listen to Hollywood. You probably listen to Hollywood movies. But he justifies, as low as I've seen him justify, as 13. And I don't think any 13-year-old should be consenting to anything. Like, at all.
Age of consent should just be an accepted number, and I think the accepted one is 18. Like, regardless of where you talk about in the world, I feel like once you start talking about someone under 18, you're basically just talking like a predator. Like, I feel like 18 is a pretty well-established number for most sensible people. At 18, you're going to college, you're living your own life now, you're outside of your family nest. Anything under that, you're still a kid.
Okay. You know, it's not 18 in most of the United States where we both live, right?
Yeah, but that refers to like Romeo and Juliet laws, where if you're like 19.
I mean, it is 16 in a lot of states, not most of the U.S. I think the national average, I think, is 18, which would imply that most of the states are 18. But it is 16 in some states. And it's just like, yeah, we should change it. There we go. There's my argument. Yeah, we should change it to 18. Simple as that.
And with a 16-year-old, it's not technically illegal, but you're not a 19-year-old, right? So why would you be arguing for like a 16? You know?
First off, I'm not arguing to lower the age of consent. I don't believe in the age of consent. We can get there. I want to establish some terms first.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's not even just with Romeo and Juliet laws. There's a lot of states where it's 16 regardless of Romeo and Juliet. And then you go to Europe.
Here's what I'll say. We can fully abolish the age of consent as soon as we make it okay with prosecuting anyone with an age gap of greater than 4 years. Any age gap greater than 4 years, you go to prison. You get arrested. That is illegal. Because, like, sure, if you want to make it to where a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old can be together, fucking, it's inappropriate. It's not, like, good. But, I mean, sure, if you really fucking want to argue, I'd say 3 years is honestly where I would probably max out. And a 3-year gap seems, in those vital, transformative years, seems to make the most sense. Because, like, obviously, once you hit 30, people don't really give a shit. When you see, like, a 30-year-old with a 40-year-old, that's not that big a deal. When you see a 50-year-old with a 70-year-old, it's a little odd, but all you see is wrinkles at that point, so it's not a big deal. But when you're at the most transformative stages of your life, where literally in 2 years you will change your entire, like, your clothing choices, if you're a girl, you'll change your makeup looks, like, from becoming a boy into a man and becoming a girl into a woman, those few, like, 7 to 8 years, because, yeah, it's like, some people will be transforming and becoming adults earlier, but we need to have a range that seems justifiable, and 18 seems like a good range, rather than going, well, we'll just, explain it then. Explain something that makes sense, rather than just
Europe, most countries are 16.
saying, well,
Japan, I think they just changed it. It was like 13 or 14, and now it's 16.
Japan was like 12 or something. Yeah, is that good? Do you agree with that? That's always what it comes down to. Is like, are you justifying these things and saying those are good, or are you just saying, well, other people do it? Because who gives a fuck about that? That's just a stupid argument to make.
Brazil, it's 14. I saw that from a Nelk Boys video. They were joking around about how they should, like, when in Rome, they're in Brazil, so they might as well sleep with a 14-year-old, right? Or across the world, 18. I want to see, like, why do you think 18 is the age of consent?
Because that right now is the one that makes the most sense. I guess to piggyback off what you're saying.
That was a dumb thing to say. It's just the fact that it seems to be the point where, on average, people become the most, like, it seems to be the point where you transition over into being able to make more established decisions for yourself. We need to have you need to have age limits for everything. You need to have age limits for the age of consent. You need to have age limits for driving cars, for drinking, for everything, or else you're just, like, promoting anarchy, which I suppose you could, but be ready for those people that disagree with you to start coming with freaking axes and shotguns, and be ready for Left 4 Dead 3.
So if you're traveling right now, if you go to Europe, are you going to be comfortable, like, hooking up with a 16-year-old? Like, just because it's legal there, would that make you feel comfortable?
No, I don't hook up anymore. I'm
I'm not saying that you do, but I'm saying if you were, single and looking for someone, would you feel comfortable with it being a 16-year-old if it's in Europe versus US?
I wouldn't do that. Like, I would not have sex before. I think sex.
I just hate that he tries to weasel around it all the time, too. He's asking, would you be okay with it? Like, obviously, he's kind of asking, would you do it? But I think generally what he's asking is, would you be okay with it just because someone's in that, like, country? Your answer should be no. It should be no, absolutely not. It's not okay. Because you should always just think of the farthest point. If you want to say, oh, well, why does the age of consent matter? You should just be able to know. So a 13-year-old should be able to get with a 30-year-old by this logic. But that's clearly just dumb. That is clearly just stupid.
like out of wedlock altogether is something that we should not encourage anymore. And having the age of consent, having that idea encourages people to have premarital sex, right? Just that term, age of consent, means you're consenting to something.
And also, when you have larger age gaps, all you're doing is creating an imbalanced power structure. Because obviously, there's innate power structures in every relationship, whether it be like based on gender or race or like whatever. There's these like inherent things that play into it that affect your relationship and like outwardly in the world and inwardly to each other, subconsciously or consciously. But like
something that we shouldn't be doing. So no, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that.
I'm just fucking yapping at this point, honestly. But my point was just kind of that it's. I'm just gonna keep it moving. There's too long for me to just keep yapping. I'm fucking.
Okay, so then instead of let's take it away from like premarital sex. Would you feel comfortable marrying a 16-year-old? Like, would you meet a 16-year-old with romantic intent if you're in Europe and
No.
maybe marry a
Wouldn't be
16-year-old?
cool with
I don't
that.
think sexual.
I probably wouldn't personally, because I don't think that I'd be on the same
What do you mean personally?
mental playing field. I like to have intellectual conversations. I like to be with women that are around my same age, because then I can have conversations. I like to relate to them. You know, I think there'd be too much of a gap. But other people, like, if they're able to.
If you can acknowledge it would be too much of a gap for you. Why is it too much of a gap for you, but not for other people? If you think that they're able to be at a mental capacity for other people, do you just think that you're at a higher mental capacity than those, like... Is he just going like, no, I wouldn't have sex with a 30-year-old, or I wouldn't have sex with a 13-year-old when I'm 30, but any guy that would is just more stupid than me, clearly. So, I mean, fair enough.
To get along, then I don't see why that's so much of a problem.
But why don't you see that as a problem? So for you, you're recognizing like this person's much younger than me. It is a kid. Like you are talking to.
Okay, so let's define these terms.
Let's high school.
Before we even get to let's define these terms before we even get into this conversation. What is a child?
You want to get into it? I think if you want to get like technical, a child is like anybody under 13, because then between 13 and 19 you're a teenager. But I think child probably runs up to, and most of the time 16. I'd say 16, 17 is like, because I think that's why in most of this, or not most of it, I see why he said that. It slips out. I see why in some states it is 16, because that is like around the time when you're starting to round off. But anybody that's already rounded off shouldn't be like trying to, work their way into somebody who's still figuring themselves out. And I feel like that's like kind of the biggest problem, is that in general we should try and be people. We should try and be with people that are at similar mental capacities to us, to benefit ourselves, our children, and like the community around us. Because again, if you have imbalanced power structures, all it's going to lead to is like corruption in the relationship. You don't want, regardless of, like what I was saying before, like I know I was kind of yapping on it before, but like whether it be based on the gender or the race or the size, because you could have a woman that's stronger than the man in the relationship, but none of those things so obviously you should play into what benefits your relationship, but be aware of the things that are going to be a detriment to it. And I think age is probably one of the biggest detriments to a relationship, because like, yeah, a 30-year-old could be with a 50-year-old, but with a 20-year age gap, like the differences in shows, movies, music, everything is going to be so drastically different that even communicating would be difficult, which Sneako admitted in saying that he wouldn't do it personally because he wants to have intellectual conversations about pedophilia.
I would use the age of consent. Under 18 would be a kid in my eyes.
So a 17-year-old who's 364 days, that's a kid?
Yep, I'm gonna use very hard set terms.
Yeah, and we can establish that because, like I'm saying, I can understand why someone would say that, someone can be developed after 16 because they were they were just a higher IQ. They actually have 140 IQ, and they have been considering these things since they were younger. So by the time they turned 16, they were way more established. But just because one person could possibly be more mentally developed does not mean that you should use it as a set standard for everybody, and we should just treat that person to the standards of the norm rather than trying to make carve-outs for but they're really smart though. Now I know she's just got out of 8th grade, but she's really smart though. So shit's just so dumb.
If it is under 18, even if it's 17, 364, that's still a kid.
That's a kid.
Okay, so I think it's important to have these hard lines in the sand where it doesn't have this kind of wiggle room.
Okay, why does that define kid?
As I said earlier, at 18, at that point, you're going out of high school, you're going to college, you're living on your own, you're no longer, a child under your parents' roof, for the most part, extenuating circumstances, of course, but at that age, you are starting to become independent. You are no longer just in your parents' household a kid. You are now going off into the world on your own.
You do admit that varies for most people, right?
Yeah, and that's why you have a baseline, because regardless of it changing for a lot of people, yeah, some kids get thrown out of the house at 9 years old, don't know what to do, and go live on the street from 9 years old until they're an adult. Does that mean at 9 years old you should be letting those kids go get jobs and get married and make lifelong decisions, go get loans? It's stupid. It's a blind take.
People don't move out of their parents' homes until they're 25, 26, 27. A lot of people
there's nothing wrong with that.
A lot of people graduate high school 16. A lot of people graduate high school 20. It's a huge variable. So to set that in stone is that this is when you're a kid and this is you're an adult, that doesn't apply to most people. So why would you define a kid and an adult if it doesn't apply to most people?
Because it needs to be defined. Otherwise, you can get into this really gray area where
It does apply to most people, but he wants to point out the outliers and then go, but that's the norm. When he's talking about the outliers, he's literally talking about the things that aren't common and going, but those happen. So if that's everybody, then why don't we live by that when it's literally not everybody? That's so dumb.
A lot of the things you say can be misconstrued as you wanting to have sex with a 15, 16-year-old.
Who construed that?
A lot of people, because I don't think any clips that I played in the video, you were saying the age of maturity, the age of development, and then you use 16 and 17 in that clip for the age of marriage.
The definition of an adult is 18 years old.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fine establishment right there. Anything under 18 would classify as a kid. I think that's important.
Okay, but you're getting that from what?
I mean, bro, trying to win this whole argument based purely on semantics and etymology is just so stupid. You're not talking with any substantive reasoning. All you're talking is just, well, what does child mean? What does adult mean? You see how these definitions are so loosely built that it doesn't really fit a mold for most people. That's so fucking dumb. Just
from personal experience, from the government, from the law, because that's legally in America, that's when you become an adult, correct?
Yeah, legally.
So you're following the government's definition of an adult.
Sure.
I think there needs to be a definition, and that one's been around for a long time, and I think that's the one most people accept as the closest to, this is when you become an adult.
It actually hasn't, right? 200 years ago in the 1800s in America, the age of marriage...
We can't live like that. We're so much more advanced than that. Why would we play by those rules? Because at that point, are you going to start arguing that we should be able to start wedding?
Thank you. I mean, you don't even have to say wedding. Do you think we should have slavery again? And do you think we should have 200 years ago, bro? That's fucking forever ago.
12-year-olds? Is 12 too young?
That's not the point. I'm saying, you're saying that the U.S. defined adult as 18. Well, I'm saying 200 years ago, the age of marriage in America was 10, and the UK was 7. Right? So if the government decides...
Where are you getting this information? Age of marriage. Oh, God, I just spelled marriage wrong. U.S. 1800s. Women began courting as early as 15 or 16 in the 18th century. That's the 18th century, which would be the 1900s? No, it would be the 1700s, right? We're always one ahead. We're in the 21st century right now. Yeah, so in the 18th century, it was fucking common for people 22 to 26 to be married, and that's the upper class. But then women began courting as early as 15 or 16. That's not fucking 9. What are you talking about? Let's see, UK. Yeah, so parental consent is girls as young as 12. That's fucking disgusting, but it's still not. He said 9 years old. Just fucking lying.
To change it. You're saying it's 18. If the government, maybe if Kamala Harris gets elected, then the new legal age of an adult is 25, and there could be reasons to say that.
Bro, you're just talking about 200 years ago, and now you first of all you were wrong about 200 years ago, and now you're talking about in the next election term, she's going to change the laws to be something different now. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Graduated college, they don't leave the house until this age. The brains don't develop.
What do you say, 25? 25 is just stupid. Because I think the reason 18 works is because when you raise it, you don't just cause it to be raised, you create a larger umbrella which encapsulates people between 19 and 24. Or whatever you want to say. So then the 24-year-olds could then still be having sex with 13-year-olds. And that would be like then the issue. So 18 works because, yeah, 18, but then also, we'll get into the definition of pedophilia in a second. We'll see if they bring this up because we got the DSM-5 definition. Because my mom worked some. Why can't I think of the fucking word? My mom worked with people. She worked with people, and she owns the DSM-5. I remember I read it a few times. Not like all of it, but I read a few things out of it.
Until you're 25, your frontal cortex is not fully developed until you're 25 years old. A lot of people aren't making serious...
That's why I can't remember. I'm not 25 yet. I'm only 23, so that's why I can't remember what I'm talking about.
Money, they're not able to live independently. A lot of things that you could use to classify an adult don't happen for the new age American until 25 years old. So if Kamala Harris raised it to 25, would you then say that that's the new age? Would you agree with that?
I think that'd be totally understandable. Like, I think
that's fucking stupid. Don't concede that, bro. That's dumb. Like I'm saying, the only reason I think it's dumb is because then you create an umbrella that then allows people that are 24 to then have sex with people that are still in high school, which is not okay. Because I'm pretty sure I don't want to Google this because I don't want that on my search history, but I feel like it's probably illegal for kids to have sex too. Like, I don't know what the enforcement on that would be, but I think if you found out some kids were having sex, like young kids, I think there would probably be at least charges for the parents. So
then does that make anybody who sleeps with an under 25-year-old, does that now make them a pedophile?
No, I don't think necessarily that makes them a retroactive pedophile.
So then what's a pedophile?
But it's an accepted definition of 18 for a long time. Is
not for that long. Not for that long, and not through most.
Here, he said, "What's a pedophile?" So we're gonna get into we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this pedophilic disorder classified by the DSM-5, which is a paraphilic disorder. Pedophilic disorder is a DSM-5 diagnostic and a statistical manual for mental disorders, 5th edition. Diagnosis assigned to adults, defined as age 16 and up. So, I mean, if you want to, we could literally use that as the adult definition too. So a child is anyone under 16. We could do that. So it's anyone who is an adult defined as age 16 and up who has sexual desires for prepubescent children. Any behavior. There's a... Oh yeah, here are the symptoms. This is a more direct way of specifying this, which is according to the DSM-5, there are three criterion with 6 specifiers. So it's an individual who has had an individual who has arousing fantasies about, urges for, or behaviors with a prepubescent child or children. The individual has acted out these sexual desires or has experienced significant distress or difficulty as a result of these desires. And 3, the individual is 16 years of age and at least 5 years old, and at least 5 years older than the child or children noted in criterion A. And then the specifiers are exclusive type sexual attraction to children only, non-exclusive type sexual attraction to adults and children, attraction to boys, attraction to girls, incestuous only. And so I guess those specifiers would indicate other types of things probably. But realistically, this is a behavior. Okay. This is a Paraphilic disorder and any behavioral expressions are criminal offenses in the United States, Canada, and Europe, as well as most other places in the world. Some authors differentiate between having deviant desires for children, which are ego dystonic and resisted, causing guilt, shame, and distress, versus desires which are indulged through fantasy associating with other pedophiles' position in trading in pornographic images, or direct observation, self-exposure, or physical contact with the victim. Pedophilic disorder is highly treatment resistant, and rates of recidivism, which is like a rate of reoffending, have been estimated to 25% to 50%. Harvard. This is inconclusive, however, as this figure is more accurately described as 25 to 50% are arrested for child sexual abuse, and an unknown number reoffend, but do not come to the attention of law enforcement. For the victim of the offense, it tends to be very psychologically damaging and can produce long-term psychosexual problems and PTSD. And then I read this a little bit earlier. This kind of just gets into they indicated that it was a preference, and people assumed that meant that it was a sexual orientation, because they said it was a preference rather than an interest, and it was just a clerical error, I assume. You can't be cured by it. It's just a thing that's treated. Let's see what the treatments are. It indicates that there's a correlation between antisocial personality disorder and pedophilic disorder. There's comorbidity with substance abuse disorder, bipolar disorder, depressive disorder, anxiety disorders, and other paraphilias, which include transvestic disorder, sexual masochism disorder. I had to read what this one was. It's just basically just cross-dressing. Sexual masochism disorder, fetishistic disorder, voyeuristic disorder, sexual sadism disorder, broaderistic disorder, and exhibitionist disorder. So all of those are considered paraphilic disorders. But pedophilia is one that involves, again, children when you are over the age of 16 and they're children at least 5 years younger than you. Yeah. So that would mean at 16, they would have to be 11 or younger. At 20, they would have to be 15 or younger. And again, I think that makes sense. You wouldn't say that someone who is 18 having sex with a 16-year-old is a pedophile. You would say that maybe they're doing something wrong. Or let's say someone that just started college, someone that's 20 years old, has sex with a 17-year-old. It's not good. It's obviously wrong. There are different stages in their life, and there is somewhat of a power imbalance in the fact that the person in high school could see them as more intelligent, more advanced, yada yada yada. So it only adds to the fact that there's already an innate power imbalance based on age. So the treatments, there aren't really any treatments for it. The ones that they do have is SSRIs, estrogen, to suppress your sexual desires, or castration. That's one way to do it. And I think the thing that just makes it difficult is the fact that people that have pedophilic disorder because what did they say was the other one? Because I think that there's probably a lot of people that have whatever disorder and have these desires or have these things but never act out on them, and then are just plagued with these terrible thoughts, because obviously there's something clearly wrong with them, but the last thing I think you should do is just because a lot of people will just be just kill all pedophiles. And yeah, but then all you're doing is just waiting for new ones to be born, new people to turn 16 years old and offend on someone 11 or younger. And I don't think that's okay. That we should try and figure out where it starts, where the things kind of come from. And it seems like it's probably just just psychological. They have some kind of innate sense to be attracted to children, but then it's about teaching them about just about consent. Then, because here's the thing, pedophilia is a disorder. Once you get past the idea of pedophilia being a disorder that someone's having to deal with, then we can get into the idea of talking to these people with this about, being just following the laws in terms of consent. A child can't consent. Someone who is younger than you cannot consent. In most places, I know it says 16, but once you hit 18, yeah, you're not gonna. You can obviously get charged for statutory rape, but you're not a pedophile. You're just a criminal. You're a pervert and a criminal. But yeah, it doesn't make you a pedophile. So let's get back to this now. Now that we have the definition, so let's see what they say. Ooh, playing picture-in-picture, not what I meant to do.
Most states and not through most countries across the world.
Do you see why this is like a weird take to have though? I don't think you're coming at this from a place of you wanting to fuck a 15-year-old, are you? To go back to that question, is 12 too young? Do you think 12 is too young?
I think 12 is too young for me. Yes.
Well, for you, do you think 12 is too young in general? I feel like that should be an easy answer.
12 is too young in general, correct?
Okay.
Yes.
And I don't think
I want to define. But what you're saying, your definition of adult is not even the actual definition. Do you know what the definition of child is? Like, anybody watching this can Google it. You can Google it too. The definition of child is somebody who has not reached puberty yet. That's the definition.
No, we just got it from the DSM-5. It says anyone under the age of 16. That is a weird definition because there are people that don't hit puberty at all. There are disorders that make you not hit puberty. Are they just children forever? Yeah,
and then you get into like a bebophile or whatever as opposed to pedophile, and those are all.
I don't know. I have no idea what those terms are. I don't know what that is, but I'm saying that's the actual definition. When somebody reaches maturity, it's based off of biological and physical maturity.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so it varies for everybody. Adulthood is not something that you can set in stone because it's different for the entire world. I moved out when I was 14. A lot of people don't move out until they're 25. I went through puberty when I was 17. A lot of people went through puberty when they were 13, 14, 15. It changes for everybody. So for you to say that this is the set in stone age and say you're a pedophile if it's under 18 and then if you're over 18 you're fine, well then that's a weird line that doesn't make sense. So you're going to say this person is a terrible person if they're 17 years old, 364 days, and right after that they're good to go. Well, it changes for everybody. So we have to have something, a definition.
I feel like the definition they have set in the DSM-5 is pretty clear. I mean, if you follow those rules, I feel like that has you pretty clear. For like what I was saying too, they give you, 5 years, 4 years? I'd say give them like 3, give them 2 or 3 years, and you're in the clear. But like this whole idea of being able to be with someone when you are a fully matured, fully developed individual, because like you're saying, oh, it happens different for different people. So should someone who's over the age of 25 with their frontal cortex fully developed be able to be with someone who is still just developing? The answer is no, but I don't think he'd say that.
We have to be realistic with everybody. Well, we don't, but you're saying we, but that's not even the case in the country we live in.
Why argue against it? If you don't want the age of consent to be lowered, why are you making arguments that the same people who do make? Right now what you're saying is kind of what NAMBLA used to say, if you're familiar with NAMBLA.
I have no idea what this is.
NAMBLA was the North American Man-Boy Lover Association. They
right, because these people don't want to, they want to have sex to...
He knows what this is. I know he's talked about South Park before. He knows what NAMBLA is.
Who take advantage and they don't abide by the rules of marriage. They don't have any sort of morality. They just want to have. I'm arguing for this because I believe in marriage. Sex should only be within wedlock. That's why I'm talking about this.
So then why if you're arguing, we can take sex out of it. Why, when you're arguing for marriage, do you want it to drop? Like, okay, 16.
When did I say? Just because I don't believe in the age of consent does not mean that I want it to drop. Like, see, that's where like the internet can go apply that. Just because I'm saying.
Well, no.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Just because I don't believe in the age of consent doesn't mean... In most places, if you got married and got like the permission from the parents, I'm pretty sure a 20-year-old could marry a 16-year-old. Like, I'm pretty sure that happens in a lot of places where the parents sign off on the paperwork and stuff, and it's fine. So, like, I don't know what the fuck you're on about this. Like, oh, I don't understand why people are so against this and that. Like, I don't think most people are against it. I think most people are willing to call it weird, which it is. But I don't think most people are going to come with fucking torch and pitchfork and fucking come and attack you.
Because you're saying the definition of an adult is 18. I'm saying that's an arbitrary number and that makes no sense. We should encourage marriage when people reach maturity. That makes much more logical sense.
That's even more vague though. Like, but also you directly
vague because it's different for
everybody. When someone can legally drive, they should be able to legally marry. You did say that to me.
Right. When somebody is legally ready to drive, the same thing. I think adults should drive cars. That's why I told you that.
Yeah, but 15 and 16-year-olds can drive cars. You said when someone can legally drive
across the world, 15 and 16-year-olds can have sex too. I think that people should not operate, but see, you keep thinking that I'm saying this because I want the age to be lowered. That's not what I'm talking about at all.
That's what it comes across as, though. When you
maybe with the internet brain, because people in the West, they want to have sex all the time and they have a different sort of mindset. Right here in the Middle East, I'm in the Middle East right now. They want to get married and then have sex. So people, just because I'm saying this is not.
Yeah, I don't think you should marry a fucking 15-year-old. I think even two 15-year-olds marrying is probably dumb. Two 15-year-olds getting married is fucking stupid. Wait a bit. Even if you're going to stick together, stay together. Do not cheat. Do not become, don't commit infidelity. Don't do these bad things. But don't get married right away. Because what's the point of getting married? Are you only getting married to have sex? Because marriage needing to come so early seems kind of redundant when you're like, oh, I don't believe in sex before marriage, but I believe in getting married at 15. Like, that's fucking dumb.
I mean, automatically lower. No, that's not the case at all. I want to ask you then, because you're insinuating that it sounds creepy and that I sound like a pedophile. What's the definition of pedophile?
It is an adult who is attracted to children.
Yeah, it comes from the Greek word pedo means child and phile means love. So somebody who loves a child.
You're such a dumbass, bro. He's literally giving like etymology definition, being like, well, if you break it down based on the Greek word pedo and the Greek word philo, both of these break down to mean, again, it's like those words. First you were talking about the age of consent 200 years ago. Now you're talking about what the fucking definition of pedophile meant for the Greek. Those words didn't even exist in the Greek context.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
An adult who is attracted to a child.
To a child, somebody who has not reached physical maturity.
Yes.
That's the definition of child. Somebody who hasn't reached physical maturity. It has nothing to do with 18. The definition of the word talks about physical maturity, not the U.S. government definition that you're basing it off of.
But there needs to be an agreed upon place. Otherwise, you get into this area. Again, you said when you can legally drive, you should be able to legally marry.
Right.
We don't have to talk about sex. Do you think it's okay to be marrying a 15 or 16-year-old? Probably not, right? I would imagine probably not.
It depends. So this is where the age of consent becomes arbitrary. I don't even believe like that. Consent is a weird thing to even speak about, but it should be the father, right? If I want to marry a girl, I shouldn't even just get consent from her. I should get consent from her parents. She should want to say yes. Her parents should want to say yes. That's consent from the family, and then you get married. That's the Islamic way.
What? So now we're talking about arranged marriages rather than I should get her consent, then I should get the consent of her father. That's when you get into like the whole thing of selling off your daughter for fucking 50 sheep. Like, needing the consent of the parents is stupid. Obviously, you should want the consent of the parents, but needing it is absolutely ridiculous. If you want to be respectful, ask for your girl's hand in marriage, but to think that it's the only way to do it is kind of leaning towards arranged marriages.
That's the only way that makes sense. This American way of this girl wants to have sex now, she gave consent, and then you get all these false allegations like, oh, she was drunk, oh, she took it back, oh, she retracted consent, all this.
You know you can, like, sexually assault your wife, right? I don't think he thinks you can do that. You can definitely, like, and I think in a lot of these Islamic countries, they're okay with you sexually assaulting your wife. And they don't see that as, like, a crime. They see it as her being, being abrasive and against you. You need to put your foot down. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man.
Stuff like there's not even a specific way that we can define consent. What is consent? Some people say it's yes. Some people say it's like nonverbal communication. Some people say that it doesn't count because she was under the influence or she was intimidated. Even this is a weird way to define when you're allowed to be in a relationship with somebody.
You're kind of talking around it, though. Those are all very different things. Like I said, we don't have to be talking about sex. I was talking about marriage. The question was, do you think, and you said, when you are legally able to drive, you should be able to legally marry. Do you think it is okay for an adult to legally marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
Okay, well, by my logic, if the man is physically mature, if he's went through puberty and he's mentally ready, at the age of 16, he's an adult. If he wants to get married to another girl who becomes a woman...
I just said an adult. Is it okay for an adult?
Right, and but we haven't even established exactly what an adult... So if somebody goes through puberty and they're physically ready, they're biologically ready, they're an adult. So the two 16-year-olds can be considered adults, by my logic.
We're not.
But what do you mean can be? That's like such a fucking cop-out, being like, they could be. Well, because then it would be like, well, what about this person? If you like give him an example, and he'd be like, well, that person's clearly not developed. You know what a developed person looks like. And it's like, bro, you're wanting to have sex with fucking a 13-year-old with big boobs, and that's fucking disgusting. You're a goddamn creep. Sorry. You're wanting to marry a 13-year-old with big boobs, and that's fucking kind of weirder. That you're feeling like you need to wed her first.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about an adult.
That is an adult.
Arguing
what I'm saying is that so then what is an adult now?
Okay. we'll use your age. Someone who is 25. Is it okay for someone who is in their 20s to marry a 15 or 16-year-old? And let me explain, when you're doing your arguments, it's coming from an adult. I've never heard you say, like, 2 teenagers should be able to marry. Like, I haven't heard that with these takes. I'm talking about someone in your position in the 20s. Is it okay for you to marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
But teenager, even bringing up this term that has nothing to do with child and adult. So there's 2 phases. You're a child, and then you physically mature.
I don't know why you can't just
your body
answer that
becomes.
directly.
I'm saying the difference between a child and adult is when you're physically and when you're biologically, when you're mentally ready to have kids. That's the teenager is not even. So you added another term in this. It goes child and an adult. You mature, and then you're physically ready.
Well, I didn't add it. You brought in 2 16-year-olds. We were talking about an adult and a 15 or 16-year-old. I was not the one that brought this into the equation.
Right. If it's illegal, if it's illegal, because we believe in Islam, we believe that we should obey the law of the land. If that's illegal, if that's not permissible, then
okay, then we're done. We don't even have the conversation anymore. You're just copping out. Like, why is there another fucking 2 hours of this?
we don't do it. We don't break the law.
But I'm talking about your personal beliefs. Do you think someone in their 20s should be able to marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
Someone in their 20s should. I mean, I personally wouldn't do it. I don't know many people who would do it. The maturity for people and the teenagers in the West is getting much worse. But there are.
I'm talking globally. Let's just talk globally. Like, do you think it is okay for? And I'm not talking about just you specifically anymore. Anyone. Do you think it's okay for anyone in their 20s, an adult, to marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
A 21-year-old, if there was a marriage where the father consented and the daughter consented, and it was both good on both families, and they wanted to do it, why am I going to get involved? Why should we get the government involved?
Well,
Why?
Bruh, because we should. Because the actions you take should not just be based on the. Also, what you were just saying, that the whole thing is about following the laws of the land. Islam believes in following the laws of the land, but now you're like, oh, but this is, if it's, why bring the law in it? What are you talking about?
Why would I tell them if everybody's consenting, if everybody's okay with it, if the parents are okay with it, if nobody's being harmed, if it's going to be okay, if they're both abiding by the rules and they're not hurting each other, why not?
But they're still, like, they're at best a sophomore in high school. They can't consent to something like that. Like, do you think?
Okay, so now it's sophomore in high school versus senior in high school. What's the difference? Like, what's the difference?
I'm just saying, like, I'm giving you a perspective on where that age would be in life. Like, they can't consent.
There's quite a bit of a maturity change, low key. Like, and again, it's not every single person, but that's why we have this, like, probably more than needed age. Yeah, maybe 17 would work. Maybe 17 makes more sense. But yeah, 18, 19 seems like probably where it should be. Right at the age of the teenage end, and then you become an adult. And you're going off to college. Yay, gonna be with other adults in the different phase of their life.
To something like that.
That's probably you're bringing up an outlier that's probably not going to happen as much. I'm saying that these are arbitrary reasons to say, like, a sophomore versus a senior in high school. How much different were you really maturity-wise? It wasn't that much of a difference. The reason that you keep saying 18 is because in California, where they post Hollywood movies, it's 18. And so everybody across the world, this is the standard that we believe in. This is the correct age, exactly on the dot. And if it's anything under that, are you going to say here that if a 21-year-old got married to a 17-year-old who was almost 18, is that 21-year-old a pedophile?
I would say that is a morally bad thing to do for sure.
Not morally bad. Not morally bad. I
wouldn't call them a pedophile.
So when does somebody become a pedophile?
I would say when you have this position, you're not answering the question. I'm explaining it. Okay. When you are in your 20s and you start preying upon someone who is still a child, a 15, 16, 14, anything.
He's just wrong on this point. We just read it. Like I said, I think that, again, it's creepy, it's wrong, but someone who's 20 years old going after attacking 17-year-olds is obviously weird, and it's the way I always think about it is, where are all the people your age? Where are all your friends? Why are you needing to leave all of these people that you knew before to then join something else? Like, it seems a bit unnecessary. So I feel like that's always the thing to look at, is where's this person's friends? Where's this person's, group? If they don't have it, like Sneako, then you kind of know why. Is the whole world the problem, or is it you?
Thing under 18, a 21 and a 17-year-old.
But you still haven't specifically defined what a child is.
I did.
He said anyone under 18. See, he defined it, but then you're just not accepting it.
So then why? Okay, there you go. So if pedophile is love of children, and your definition of adult starts at 18, if the 21-year-old marries a 17-year-old who's turning 18 tomorrow, he is a pedophile based off your definition.
As I said, if he would wait, he would not be.
We're not waiting.
It's fucking stupid, Charlie. You're just fucking. See, this is like the bits I saw on, like, Instagram and stuff. Trying to do this is just dumb. Trying to be like, well, he would be. No, he wouldn't be. We have a definition for pedophilia, but that has nothing to do with why the age of consent exists. We don't just have the age of consent to prevent pedophilia. We have the age of consent to prevent other forms of overpowering in power structures, tipping the scales. I'm sorry, I'm fucking like, this is literally, I'm only 20 minutes in. I paused it so many times. I've already made this 45 minutes. I feel brain dead already.
Based off your definition, that person's
in that position, there is no reason to not wait for the legally established, agreed upon definition of when you stop being a child.
Okay, so now we get into the question of whether the pedophile thing, is that a moral answer or a legal answer? Because it seems like morally, it's pretty much, okay, it's almost there, that morally that's not a pedophile. Legally it is, but those are two different things.
But they don't need to be.
It's not even legally a pedophile. I don't know if there's legal classifications for pedophile. It's a medical thing. You'd be legally a sexual predator. I don't know, sexual assaulter. You'd be on a sexual registry, I'd assume, but I don't think there's legal pedophiles. I think you're a medical patient pedophile.
Yes, like they can coexist. You recognize that, right?
No. Like, then that's when you muddy up morality with the law. Now you're allowing the government to determine morality, and that's where things...
No, morality usually creates the law. He's got it backwards. He thinks, well, you're letting the law dictate morality. No, our morality usually dictates the law, and then it kind of like... It just like reinstates it, kind of, it's like when you have a moral argument, then you create laws based around it, then you no longer need the moral argument, which is why Charlie's fucking losing this right now by just going like, but it's wrong though, it's illegal. Like, yeah, but you need to explain why.
Things get muddied up because if they changed it with like they did before, like 200 years ago in the 1800s when it was age of 10.
So like 200 years ago when they changed it and it was 10 years old, so if they change it again in 4 years and make it like 25, bro.
That was fine. Legally back then, they were not a pedophile. Today, legally, they are a pedophile. There's no consistency there. You can't allow the...
And also, they weren't a pedophile because that wasn't like a medical term. And yeah, it would have been a Greek term that they would have been pulling over from the Greek usage, which would have meant just loving children. But like, that wasn't like a medical term that they would have been evaluating people for. They would have been like, hey bro, do you have fucking the Black Plague? Do you have are you shitting yourself to death with fucking sepsis? I forget what it's called. Are you literally dying of a black tongue? Whatever that is. They aren't going, how are you feeling about this young girl? They don't give a shit about that back then. They were probably like, yeah, marry her, cool. Get her out of my home, get her away from my diseases.
You can't allow the government to determine morality because it changes all the time. Tomorrow, if the U.S. government legalized bestiality, if the government legalized incest, based off your logic, there'd be no reason why that's wrong. Can I ask?
I think both of those things are legal in some states. I'm like 99% sure both of those things are legal in some states. And does that make it morally okay? No. But it's like, that's why you change those things. Obviously, those things are fucking weird. And those, I think, are built into the law based on like really old laws like you're talking about, which aren't okay, that we need to change.
Moist, do you think that incest is wrong?
Yes.
Why is incest wrong?
There is under no circumstances any excuse for anyone of the same bloodline to be romantic like that. By no...
What? Why is it wrong? Because they shouldn't, it's bad. Yes, but why? There's reasoning for it. It is wrong, it is wrong. Don't get me fucking misconstrued, but why?
No means at all.
Why?
I really think it should be pretty obvious why.
I don't know why. I'm asking.
I know where you're going.
You don't know why, Sneako? Sus. Little sus.
With this, because I've heard this argument from another streamer before about like the ethics of incest. If they don't have a kid and thus don't pass down like bad genes that lead to a bad child. I've heard this before.
I think this is interesting because you could just argue again from the standpoint of what I was saying, the whole idea of the power imbalance. You create a power imbalance at that point. The reason incest is wrong is because the mother has power over the son, or the dad has power over the daughter, or the older sibling has power over the younger sibling, or the grandparent over the child, or the aunt and uncle over the child. Like it's all creating a power imbalance. Because even if it's not based on age between children, like if two children are having an incestual relationship, it's wrong because one of them in their familial relations is seen as the more responsible one and is given the more power. And those things bleed into all of their decision making and stuff. And it's like, oh, my this sibling is telling me to do this, I should do that. This my aunt and uncle is telling me to do that, I should do it. And that's why it's wrong, because even regardless of if they like it or not, it's creating a power imbalance, subconscious or consciously.
But so I want to hear your answer, because are we going with legal, or are we going to follow some sort of morality, some sort of consistent morality? Why is incest wrong?
Incest is wrong because I believe that no family dynamic should ever include a sexual relation.
Why?
I don't think that. Because it is not healthy. It is a bad thing to do. It is a horrible thing to subject someone to.
But why is it horrible? Because who told you that?
It's what I believe. And also, if you do have a child with your own kin, the child suffers.
Okay, but say it's two gay brothers. Chris Tyson and other Chris Tyson and Chris. If they're two brothers and they decide to be in no, genuine question. It's what you believe in. I want to figure out where your beliefs come from. You personally believe that.
My beliefs come from a place of what I believe to be.
Again, bad answers. Where do your beliefs come from? My beliefs come from my beliefs. What I believe to be good.
Moral, where I don't believe that anyone in the same family has any position to be romantic with one another.
That isn't a moral argument. That is just a statement.
I don't think
so.
That's
your morality comes from yourself?
My morality comes from like the world around me. I don't have.
Okay, so if the morality comes from the world around you, then by your logic, if you lived in America in the 1800s where the age of 10 was okay, and where the age of 7 was okay in England just 200 years ago, if you followed the world around you, that would be okay. That was fine.
And it's not now, because we've evolved past them. Like, we are significantly further along to recognize that this was a bad thing.
Yeah, and you're missing the why, though, Charlie. You're going, it is a bad thing, but why? But why is it not still a bad thing? And I guess if you pushed him on that, he might just go, it could be.
People evolve. Like, people, here, we'll go even stupider with this.
So your morality is ever changing. It changes with people.
Morality is changing. Like, you are not born and then stay the same the entire time. As you take in more information, as you grow, so does your understanding of the world.
So let's see where this goes. Okay, let's say we continue this, and morality is ever changing. And then you, MoistCr1tikal, you're living in America, and now everyone around you now believes incest is okay, as long as you don't have a child that's going to come out deformed.
Then I would disagree with it.
So your morality does not come from those around you. It comes from somewhere. If your morality comes from around you, you would agree with everybody that's there. You would agree with the government. You would agree with the law of the land. Where would you get?
Everyone has their own individuality.
Individuality has nothing to do with morals. Your personal,
because your morals are formed from your personal experiences and from what you take in around you.
Yeah, your morals are based on your environment. That's like one of the biggest bearings in your moral compass is your environment, but it's also based on your I guess your intaking of your environment, because obviously a person could see a war zone around them and think about how they want to change it and make it better, or someone could be corrupted by it and be, and fall victim to it. And that's kind of like the difference is you're both changed by your environment, but only as much as you're willing to let it. But I think that also has to do with your upbringing, which is your environment. So it's kind of a chicken and an egg situation.
From the people around you.
Okay, but if you take it in from the people around you, then incest would be okay if everybody was doing it.
If you personally didn't agree with it, it wouldn't be. Like, if
you're just fucking arguing a stupid argument here. Yeah, I just go, yeah, okay, and yeah, bro, if I lived in fucking I'm trying to think of a fake country name without sounding fucking really offensive and racist. If I lived in Malstenbull and everybody was fucking cows, yeah, I probably would think it's okay to fuck cows, even if I myself didn't want to fuck cows. But tell me then, Sneako, do you not think that you are being, manipulated and controlled by the people around you that are making you think that this is okay, even though you said in the beginning that you personally wouldn't do it yourself?
You want, I don't know why you're doing the argument a little incorrectly, but I know where you're trying to go. But the point is, the fact of the matter is,
You shouldn't say that, Charlie. You're making really bad arguments here.
People will always have their own perspectives on things, unless, of course, you just follow what you are told 100% of the time. Like for you, you're pushing back against the age of consent because you don't like being told that this is what it is based on this. You believe that, well, actually, there's a couple other extenuating circumstances in these cases.
That's not what I believe in. My belief comes from something that's consistent. It comes from the Islamic way. It comes from the Islamic way because nothing else makes sense. The Western way is always adapting, and now we allow people to change their gender, something that was admonishable only 10 years ago. See, you're following the ever-changing morality. Only 10 years ago, a man becoming a woman was a mental illness. It was something that was shamed upon. 10 years ago, if Chris Tyson was going on a Mr. Beast...
I mean, all things are just mental states. Being trans is a mental state. Being gay is a mental state. Being straight is a mental state. Being a pedophile is a mental state. All of these things are mental states. And the only thing that diminishes you as a person is not your mental state, but it's how you act upon it. Obviously, most people don't have a problem with gay people. But I think most people have not most people. I think a lot of the people that do have a problem with gay people but aren't overtly homophobic are the ones that don't like flamboyancy and people that are more abrasive with their personalities. And that's a justifiable reason, but again, it's
video, and he was there dressed up like a girl.
It's just fucking stupid. It's like, it's all just, it's your state of being, but who cares?
And he was saying that I'm taking puberty blockers, hormone blockers. Everybody would admonish him. In a lot of places, he would be excommunicated. He would say, absolutely, I do not want kids to take hormone blockers and change themselves forever. But today, that's allowed. Today, that's pushed. Today, that's okay. And then everybody else kind of falls into suit. There are a small minority of people in the West, people that believe in God. They say that...
Did he just say taking hormone blockers for an adult? For an adult? You can't take hormone blockers once the hormones are in you. Or I guess the blockers you don't take puberty blockers. Or are they the same thing? Because puberty happens and then you're done. But if he's talking about just, I guess, blocking, but I think he is just talking about puberty blockers. Because I don't think there's such a thing as just blocking your hormones, because both estrogen and testosterone are necessary for both men and women. It's just about the balance of them. Because like testosterone also creates like breasts and stuff. Like people who take TRT and stuff sometimes get they get the fatty tissue. It's all about your proestrogen and your estrogen and your testosterone and your all your other stuff.
That this is absolutely wrong, and then they get banned for it. You can't follow the people that are around you, the ever-changing morality.
You can't follow a line of questioning. You keep going off onto these tangents. Look, at the end of the day, man,
it's not a tangent.
You can believe whatever
it's not
you
a
want
tangent.
to believe. The point is, people are always going
No. You cannot believe just whatever you want to believe. You cannot.
You are doing.
If you believe bestiality is wrong, you should not be in society. If you believe incest is okay, you should not be within the community.
I think you just misspoke there, Sneako.
Are always going.
No. You cannot believe just whatever you want to believe. You cannot.
You are doing.
I mean, you can.
If you believe bestiality is wrong, you should not be in society.
A little bit of a slip up there. A little bit of a slip up. Can't blame him. I mean, fuck, bro. You're gonna look so bad now. Everyone's gonna think you fucking want to fuck pigs.
If you believe incest is okay, you should not be within the community. You should be excommunicated. These are things that there's some certain morality that should supersede the government.
And that is also, again, like a bad way of thinking, where because it doesn't stop the issue. All it does is wait for new issues to arise. Like I was saying, like people who think like kill all pedophiles, all you're going to do is just then wait for more children to be abused. And you're creating an environment for the people that are acting depraved and deviant to act in a more cryptic and elusive way.
Supersede something. The government should
not.
The
age of consent for you?
It's not the age of consent.
You should stay on topic here.
I'm staying on topic.
What you are doing is you are deflecting to other topics. You have still not directly said that you think it is a bad thing for an adult to marry a child. Like you are still unable to say that. Now,
but you haven't even defined child.
I have. My definition is anything under 18.
That's exactly what a child is.
Yeah, I think that is a great line in the sand. If you're under 18, you are a child.
It's not a great line in the sand. But that's not even the definition of child. You're going off of your own definition.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Like, who cares? Yes, why? If 18 is the established point, you're out of high school going to college. If that is the point, where everyone has agreed you're an adult past this point, why argue against it?
Why argue? Because if the government decides to push the age of high school, if they try to lower it, if they said that you can vote at a different age, then your morality changes based off of the law. And I'm saying that you need to have a consistent morality that does not change with the government and that does not change with the people.
I think he's missing this point too, that you create your morality is created by the environment around you, and then you would become steadfast in that belief system. So if you believe one thing and then all of a sudden the world around you starts going, no, we're going to change it to be like this, hopefully you and your community and the people around you would go, well, no, we don't want that. But he seems to think it. I don't understand how he thinks it works. Does he think that the world is made up? Maybe he actually does believe that people are fucking robots, that they're willing to just believe whatever, like the first thing that's pushed down their throat. But his shit just doesn't taste good enough to them, because all he's spewing from the mouth is fucking garbage. And it's like, bruh, if it was so easy to brainwash people, why isn't this bullshit doing it?
People that live in your country, it has to supersede that. You can't just say
Why?
because of high school, because of college, this is the set in stone age forever.
Okay, I want you, Sneako, to set an age in stone right now for the age of consent, age of marriage. What is that to you?
I told you that there is no age of marriage. It has to be
Now,
based
do you
off
see my
maturity,
problem?
and it has to be based off of whether it's going to be harmful, and it has to be based off the consent of the parents. It has to
Who
be
decides
healthy.
that?
If I want to marry a girl, I have to first ask her father. I have to ask her brother.
And the father's perfect. The father knows what's best for the child. At all
And I have to
times.
ask her mother.
Knows.
And again, you should, regardless of what you're saying is when they're mature enough, there should obviously still be a cutoff, because a fucking 2-year-old isn't going to be mature enough, regardless of who's trying to argue, well, if you saw they colored really well inside the lines. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dog? Like,
And the daughter has to consent. If all three parties are consenting, and then my family's consenting, that's fine. That's what a marriage should be based upon.
Okay. All that happens and it's a 14-year-old. Now what?
If the 14-year-old is mature, and I'm 16, say I went through puberty as
You're
well,
not 16,
and I'm
you're
17 or I'm 18. See, the problem with this is that you have a specific idea of where the age is, but if I'm 17 and I'm mature,
but you're missing the point of. So are you against the idea of a 30-year-old with a 14-year-old? Just say yes to that then, and be like, okay, then. Because like I was saying, if you want to, in the beginning, when I was saying, if you want to completely abolish the age of consent, but then go, now you can only have a 3-year age gap, a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old. That's what he just said. 3 years. Cool. Let them get married. Good for them. But like, when you start obfuscating and going like, well, you're just going for like this one scenario. Well, answer for that scenario, and then I can move on, and I won't bring it up again. Like, answer that one question, and we'll fucking move on from it.
and I meet a 14 or 15-year-old, and I'm okay. I'm mature. My family's okay. I asked the daughter.
You're
I
not
asked
seven-
the
you are
daughter's
in your
father for the hand of
20s.
marriage.
You're in your 20s.
I went on
Does
this
it
already.
change?
I went on this already.
Does it change?
Your scenario earlier was if a 16 and a 21-year-old, if both parties were consent, if the father was okay with it, the mother was okay with it. Why not? What? See, give me a reason why that's. Tell me a reason why that's wrong. Because you're
One is
getting
a child, one is not a child. That's the point. So the 14-year-old, all those criteria we just checked. You're in your
the
20s.
definition that we just agreed upon. That's not true. Child is somebody that is not physically mature yet. It has nothing to do
That's
with
not
18.
what we agreed upon. We agreed upon 18.
You agreed.
Most of the
We didn't
society-
agree.
Nobody agreed on anything. Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. He just said some shit, and he's like, but you're not being consistent. You're not being consistent.
with
We
that.
agreed at 18.
That's not true. That's not true across the whole world.
Sensible people. Even your own community has agreed upon 18 for the most part.
He said, nuh-uh. Look at his face. Nuh-uh. Why is he doing this, too? Bro's going, how the fuck is he sitting like this? Put your shoulders back, dude. You're gonna create a fucking slouch in your neck. Should I just sit like this shit all the time? Intimidate Sneako? The fuck is he sitting like that?
So I've seen a lot of the tweets when you go on these tangents. Most people say it should be 18, and Sneako's arguing that parts of the world are different, so it gets muddy. But the agreed upon for the majority of people is 18.
That's not true.
So under-
That's just not true across the world.
So you see when you argue against that, why it looks so weird? Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand.
He's just saying shit. Let's look it up. Average age of consent in the world. 16. Yep. I mean, I kind of believe that. That makes sense to me. Because, yeah, in some countries it's like fucking 13. Argentina is 13. Philippines is 12. Japan was 13. Yeah, they were fucking bullshitting. But yeah, it's like, even with it being 16, yeah, that's to... Here's the thing. If the average is 16, I think that have ages set between 14 and 16, but worldwide the age... See, but that's the thing, is it's saying it's between 14 and 16, but I feel like... Oh, they have it as high as 21 in some countries. Interesting. Yeah. Yep. Nations with Islamic law tend to have lower ages. Yeah, European countries generally range from 14 to 16, yeah. So what's age of majority? I've heard this term before too. Yeah, so that's when people become an adult. Yeah, and that's just kind of what makes sense, is usually the age of consent is usually just placed at the age of majority. But see, it isn't for some countries where 13 or younger than 14 and younger seem to be true for some of it. Oh, in Ireland you have to be 17 to be age of majority, but 21 to stand for election. Interesting. But yeah, so I mean, he's kind of right. What did he say? It was 16. So I'll give him that.
So
That's just not true across the world.
So you see when you argue against that one.
But I mean, like, it's 16. That's not that far off. It's the common. I mean, common for most of America. But I also think, and again, this isn't. I'd wonder what the average age of marriage is for these countries, though, too, because the age of consent, again, is only consent to sex that would be preventing somebody from being charged with statutory rape. That's all it is.
Why it looks so weird? Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand because people have been brainwashed with this. Let me ask you this: people in Europe,
brainwashing is concerning.
Okay, are people? So the majority of Europe is 16. Is everybody in Europe who abides by that? Who abides by the law? Are they pedophiles?
Yeah, in my eyes, 100%, and in European society too.
Fine.
If you have someone in their 20s that is fucking and marrying a 16.
Well, nah. If they're over 20, if they're over 21, yeah, then yeah, they're a pedophile.
Year-old, they too are excommunicated.
No, not excommunicated. Are they pedophiles?
Yeah, I would say yes.
They're pedophiles. Okay, so the majority of people that follow the law in Europe are pedophiles according to MoistCr1tikal.
If
yes,
they are,
yes
they are an adult fucking an under 18-year-old, even if it's 16 legally, I would say yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And in America, the majority of the states, it's 16. Are those people who follow the law of the land, are they pedophiles for following the... So the majority...
You keep saying the law of the land.
That's what it is. The majority of states, it's 16.
I want you to right now, Sneako. If you go to any of those states where it's 16 and you fuck a 16-year-old, it's statutory rape. It is still statutory rape. It doesn't apply. That's not what that means. That's not how that works.
We went in circles. The Romeo and Juliet laws don't apply for most people. And even without that, even without the Romeo and Juliet laws, if it was 16 and all the countries that are 16, are those people pedophiles?
As I just said, yes.
Okay.
In those countries too.
Okay.
But
do you realize what you're saying? What you were saying.
Those countries.
Most people who follow. Yeah. What you're saying, based off this logic, most people in the world are pedophiles if they follow the law.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
If the law is under 18, I would say yes.
Okay. So, but that's not the law because most of the world, as we established, most of the world is not 18. So you're saying if
What?
the majority of the world follows the law and they exercise their rights, they do exactly what they're good citizens, and they follow the law where it's 16. You are saying the majority of the world contains pedophiles. Even if they don't even act upon it, even if they agree that, okay, one day, maybe I get out of wedlock, I could fuck a 16-year-old.
Because just the thought. But yes, if there is an adult, as I've said many times, if there is an adult, and I'm defining an adult as someone who is...
We know.
We'll go deeper. We'll make it even simpler. Your age. If there's someone that is your age, and they are fucking a 16-year-old...
Why my age now? I thought it was 18. I thought it was 18.
I just gave a number because you were...
But no, you gave a number earlier.
18.
You said 18.
18. Yeah, I was just trying to make it easier. 18. If there is an adult that is fucking a 16-year-old, even in a country where it's a...
Honestly, I think that the standard is set pretty well. Anyone 5 years younger than your current age, under the age of 18. So if you are 21, someone 16 or younger. If you are 22, someone 17 or younger. If you are 19, someone 14 or younger. If you are 18, someone 13 or younger. That would make you a pedophile. And just because you're not a pedophile doesn't mean you're not a creep. So an 18-year-old with a 14-year-old, still creepy, still wrong. But not pedophilia. And like, again, trying to argue these semantics and like etymology and like trying to argue these points are just fucking like, it doesn't have any like actual basis in like legitimate thought. It's literally all just going like based on like, well, these words mean different things, and he's literally just keeps going, you don't have anything. I'm going based off Islam. Well, what does Islam say? 16
is okay. Then yes, absolutely. Standard. Now, in the case of the 18, 16-year-old, that's where Romeo and Juliet kicks in. But
because yeah, ask him that. What's the maturity standard too? Like, what's the mental maturity? Because you're saying like when a person's mature enough. If you're talking about physical maturity, bro, that's fucking weird. Because you should be talking about mental maturity. Because does that mean it's not? If you want to go marry a girl with Down syndrome because she's physically mature enough, even though you were clearly at a higher mental capacity than her and out of Again, you're breaching the bounds of an appropriate power dynamic.
If it is someone in their 20s, in their 30s, fucking a 16-year-old, that is literally statutory rape in pretty much everywhere in the world.
Right. Based off your logic, you realize this, that if a 19-year-old has sex with a 17-year-old, they should go to jail. They're pedophiles.
That is Romeo and Juliet, unless it's an 18. Then yeah, wait till they're 18.
Okay, but a lot of states don't even have Romeo and Juliet. In Europe, they don't have that. The places, your Romeo and Juliet is an American thing. And in Europe, a lot of these places, if a 19-year-old has sex with a 17-year-old, your logic, they should go to jail. Is that true?
Yeah, I think it is absolutely going to be one of those things where there's an agreed upon age. If it's 18, it's 18.
Yeah, I think that's why. Again, I've been arguing too far onto like the whole like I've been following into Sneako's trap too much. But still, he's making dumb arguments. But I think the main thing is just we need to have an age, a generalized, agreed upon age, to establish like what would be generally developed enough. Because you're saying if they're developed enough, well, what's development? What defines development is different for everybody. But that's why we have a general age that would help, help people that are underdeveloped, overdeveloped, whatever, kind of fit into that standard. Ooh, I keep fucking putting picture in picture.
So yes, a 19-year-old in a relationship with a 17-year-old should go to jail.
Well, no, okay.
Sure.
I guess, like I said, it will all depend on where that is located. So to give an example, Call Me Carson and that, I think it was a 17-year-old, I think he was 19 and 17. Like, that could be a high school relationship. And I don't remember where that took place, but the big problem there is apparently he was getting nudes. That's child porn. Like, that's a huge issue. 19 and 17, that's only a 2-year age gap. So that is applicable under things like Romeo and Juliet. So even if it is under 18 in the place you come from, that's an extenuating circumstance. But that's not what we're talking about. You keep bringing it back down to reasonable places. But what you argue for is things like when you legally can drive, you can legally get married and have sex.
Yes, when you are physically mature, when you're ready to drive a car, you should be able to. There's a lot of people that have jobs that need to do things. A lot of people aren't ready to drive cars. They're not physically, they're not mentally mature yet to drive a car. They shouldn't drive a car at 16. It should be based off maturity. The same thing has to do with sex. The reason I keep saying this is because you have these set in stone numbers. And if you were to lay the law of the land, if we follow your laws, if we follow your criteria, a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old, he's consenting, she's consenting, the parents are happy, they're happy, they want to get married, they're ready to go, you're putting them in jail. That doesn't make any sense. Because
Juliet kicks in. Like, I don't know what's hard to understand about that. Places where that doesn't exist, I guess I'm not too familiar with how those.
A lot of places they don't. A lot of places they don't. And this is why it's arbitrary. So and based off your standards, when is the Romeo and Juliet? How long can that extend?
Those are.
Don't let him get away with that. I love all these pauses I keep getting of him, but don't let him get away with that. Being like, well, in most places it doesn't. What do you mean most places? Fucking actually say something. Don't just be like, well, most places it doesn't, because that's just you trying to win fucking argument points.
Teenagers, a 17 and a 19-year-old, those are both teenagers.
Okay, now they're teenagers, but you just said 18 was an adult.
Yes, they are.
You see how the definitions keep changing? They keep changing. So far in this conversation, you changed it so many times. You said 18's an adult, and then you said, but listen, because you did. I heard you double up a couple times.
I know what you're going to harp on here.
No, you did. You said 18's an adult, and then you said adults, like you, because you think 25's an adult now. Because that's when you're. So why is? Let me ask you. Why is it not 20? Why is it not 25?
It's because that's not what was established.
Like, no, I'm asking you because you believe in personal beliefs. I believe in some. My morality comes from the Quran. You believe in personal beliefs. Why is it not?
I'm sorry, Charlie. You're floundering a little bit here.
25. 25 is when the frontal cortex is fully developed. That's when you're done maturing.
I couldn't tell you why it's not 25. I have no clue. I don't know why the drinking age is 21. I don't know. But they are agreed upon rules.
They're agreed upon rules, just like the drinking age, just like the voting age. They're agreed upon rules, and a lot of them don't make any sense. Why is drinking 21?
But I do think 18 does. There is a good reason for it. You are out of high school. You are going to live on your own. You're going to college. I think that is a good reason.
Yeah, maybe in the 1980s, but nowadays people don't leave the house until 24, 25, until they're my age. A lot of people don't. People are not financially ready. People are still immature. There's 18-year-olds I know that are more mature than people my age, and there's 25-year-olds that are more immature than 18-year-olds. It's arbitrary now. It depends on personal experience. It depends on individual maturity.
Again, he makes a point that makes sense for stupid people. Because yes, it is dependent on the individuals and how they interact with whatever. But it's the fact that generally we need to have a set standard, because what's stopping from someone just being like, well, they seem mature, and then they're not. Well, yeah, they seem mature, but you're not, and you don't realize that your maturity level is actually like, you know what I mean? Because yeah, there are 25-year-olds that aren't developed enough. So why should they be the ones in making the decision on the capacity of their partner they're trying to have, wedding or sex, whatever? Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, if having that standard just makes the most sense, because then, oh, well, I'm 25, I might be an idiot, but you're 18 and you're way smarter than me. Oh, well, I'm 25 and I'm way smarter than you, but you're at least 18, so even though you're a little lower than me, we're at least at a similar level. Like,
maturity.
But there needs to be something defined in your rule here.
And I'm saying there is something defined. I'm saying there
A
is.
14-year-old, in your definition, could literally marry an adult. That's a problem. In your world, a 14-year-old can marry an adult.
Yeah, in my world, 14-year-olds could be adults. I'm telling you, the only
why that's weird.
Two 14-year-olds. You don't think that two 14-year-olds could be married?
No, absolutely not. No. Under no circumstances do I think two.
No way. If when I was 13 years old, there were two kids in my seventh. It was a 7th grader dating an 8th grader when I was in 7th grade. And this kid was like, I proposed, we're going to get married. And she was like, yeah, look at my ring. Look at my ring, we're going to get married. And they were really talking about how they were going to get married and they were going to do all this. And I remember at that age going, that's fucking stupid. That's really dumb. You have all these years ahead to, regardless of if you want to be together or not, getting married right now is pointless. You can't even afford a good wedding. And again, even if your parents can afford a good wedding for you and you can have a good wedding put together, like, bruh, you're gonna be upset. You're gonna look back at those photos and be like, damn, I had my braces in. So yeah, no, 14-year-olds should not be getting married. Even to each
14-year-olds
other.
can marry.
Can two 16-year-olds
Let alone a 14 and a 20-year-old or whatever.
Okay, can two 16-year-olds be married?
No, I don't think.
Why is it wrong if so a 16-year-old, because the age of consent is across the world, so many places 16. If they can go have frivolous sex with a lot of people, if they can go fuck around, if they can do deviant things, if they can change their gender, why can they not get married? Sex change, like Chris from Mr. Beast, these people can take hormone blockers. Listen, you're not listening. This is the point. You can take.
You're just changing the subject because you think it favors you, but it literally doesn't, because those are. Again, I would probably argue that I don't think anybody should be making drastic changes to their body until they turn 18. Even like nose jobs or anything like that probably isn't necessary unless medically until you're like 18, because your face is still developing, your body's still developing, things are still changing. But then once you turn 18, yeah, do whatever you want. But I also wouldn't he'd probably disagree with letting like a little boy who feels trans wear a dress. And hey, if I have a son and I'm buying my son clothes and he goes, Dad, I want to wear a dress, I'm gonna let them wear a dress, and hey, they'll probably still kick the shit out of your kid. So that's all I've got to say about that. My kid will have some hands, and that dress will give him some extra leg room to throw some fucking good sweep kicks. So be ready.
Hormone blockers, you can take puberty blockers, okay, when you're a child. When you're 16, you can go change your gender, but you can't get married? Why is that?
That's I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty obvious question.
No, it's not. It's not. See, if you cut your penis off, like Chris from Mr. Beast, if you cut your penis off, that is a life-altering decision. You can't glue it back on. You can get divorced if you get married. This is a commitment that you're taking. A child, based off the liberal point of view that you believe in, they can have gender surgery. They can change forever.
At what? Wait, what? At what age?
Surgery. They can change. You get married. This is a commitment that you're taking. A child, based off the liberal point of view that you believe in, they can have gender surgery.
So he just said he thinks a child. What age is prepubescent? What age is considered prepubescent? Between 8 and 9 to 12. So anything below 12 is prepubescent. Can 12-year-olds get gender surgery? Nice, these are just fact checkers. Young children do not receive medical gender transition treatment. We're just double checking everything. Ages between the two. Yeah, see, like this stuff I might even be against too, like giving children's puberty blockers. Because here's my whole thought, right? Some people are more masculine, some people are more feminine. That doesn't stop you from being a stud or a bad bitch. So it's like, it's all about the aura that you emit. It's all about the energy that you carry. anybody thinking that, you know, you have to do any type of thing to become any type of person is wrong. You just have to be yourself, and the truth and the beauty will emerge. And again, I think once you hit a certain age, if you really feel like you want to do something, get a breast surgery, or get get your vagina turned to a penis, or vice versa. I mean, do what you're gonna do. That's you. That's not. But my whole thing is I feel like children are too impacted by feelings of inadequacy. But again, that doesn't mean when your child's feeling inadequate, make them feel more inadequate by forcing them into any type of mold that you feel is appropriate. Because again, my kid will wear a dress and kick the shit out of your kid, like literally fucking 8-piece fucking uppercuts, all that shit, man. You are going to be so disappointed. Sneako's gonna cry. He's gonna cry when his kid comes home with a black eye and he's like, "You didn't defend yourself. The kid was wearing a dress. Ah, the woke agenda."
They could change forever.
But just to say, yes, this is wrong. Kids are not getting their penis cut off at fucking 8 years old. They might be given puberty blockers, which, again, we can have that argument. We can talk about that. But, butts fart. Let's go.
He let go. One sec.
The fuck is this? What the fuck is this image? It's fucking Charlie's. What is this? It looks so funny. Okay, let's keep this moving. Let's keep this moving, Sneaky.
Do you believe that somebody can go through hormone therapy? Can they change their gender if they're a child?
I think that's totally fine as long as everyone is consenting. As you agree with.
Okay, so as long as
If
everyone...
your parents are okay with it and you are okay with it, I think that's totally a family decision to make, yeah.
Okay, so a child can cut their penis off and take hormone blockers and change their biology forever, but they can't...
Again, they're not getting their penis cut off, but hormone blockers, depending. I'd probably disagree with it. Because, like I'm saying, there's masculine women, there's feminine men. There's people born with high cases of estrogen or testosterone regardless of their gender. So, like, hey, you were already born in the wrong body. Like, gotta just live with it. But hey, you can still be a baddie or you can still be a stud. So let's get to work on the looks. Let's get the fits together. Let's get the makeup looking good. Let's get the shoes kicking. Let's go. I'm telling you, stomp on them.
Can't get married?
No, that's a decision that now extends beyond the family, because now you're bringing in a different party. So if you have someone that's your age coming in saying, "I want to marry that child," I don't think that can happen under any circumstance.
So, but it's still a personal decision. You're still deciding.
Because
take the other party out of the equation. It's a personal decision.
Not.
If I'm 16 and I personally want to marry this girl, she's beautiful. She's 21 years old. Her family wants to do it. My family wants to do it. You're saying I can't do that. We're both consenting. I'm ready to go. I'm physically mature, but I'm not allowed to marry because Moist says that woman's a pedophile. But if then, the next day I leave it, I'm depressed, I want to cut my penis off, I can go right into the clinic, snip it off, and start taking HRT like Chris Tyson. That's a society that makes sense to you?
It is.
Oh my fucking god, Charlie. Oh, I was hoping you'd fucking make a good argument here. Oh my god, let me hear what he has to say first. And then I'll give my fucking argument, bro. Oh my god, don't just say yes, you fucking dumb piece of shit. Oh my god.
Right into the clinic, woman's a pedophile. But if then, the next day I leave it, I'm depressed, I want to cut my penis off, I can go right into the clinic, snip it off, and start taking HRT like Chris Tyson. That's a society that makes sense to you?
It is. I believe everyone has I believe everyone has the right to do with their body what they want to do.
Okay, so everyone...
Bro, oh my god. Because regardless of if somebody's transgender or not, before you make some kind of life-changing, body-altering surgery, before you go under some type of thing like that, you should always talk to a therapist. Even if you're a biological woman trying to get a breast implant to increase your breast size, you should probably go talk to a therapist first to see if maybe the feelings of inadequacy are deriving from some other place rather than an actual, like, just inherent feeling of, oh, I don't like the way my body looks. Because both of those things are possible. So I think regardless of what the reasoning, you should probably go see a therapist. And I imagine most of the time you have to talk to a therapist before a doctor is going to prescribe you. Like, you're going to go talk to a doctor and get prescribed something. It's not like you're just going to go in and go, hey doc, I want to cut my dick off today, let's do it. I think if I went in and did that, they'd probably have me psychologically evaluated first. Like, if you went into the fucking clinic and went, hey doc, getting the good old dick snip today, they'd probably fucking put you under, dog. They'd probably fucking strap you to a bed and send you off.
Everyone has the right to do with their body, but not when it comes to a sacred marriage where they have kids, where they add society.
No longer just you.
That is your body. Okay, you're still bringing in the doctor to use the scissors to snip off your penis.
He's not there for the rest of your life. He's not constantly there at your fucking house monitoring you.
You don't need to be there. You're not glued.
These are all just bad arguments.
Ooh, to your wife? You're not there like Siamese twins.
You are a 16-year-old. You are entirely reliant on this adult that you've now brought in.
No, you're not. You can tell parents, maybe I'm making my own money. I'm not relying. If I'm 16 and I marry a 21-year-old and I'm making a lot of money and I'm doing well and I'm independent, I'm not relying upon her. Not only that, the person that you just...
That's so funny that he keeps... I wonder if he really is, like, fully aware of the definition of pedophile, because he keeps, like, perfectly encapsulating the number. If I'm 16 and this girl's 21... that's like the perfect 5-year gap to where it's not technically pedophilia and blah, blah, blah. That's like, bro, what is happening? What is happening right now?
Just put through transgender therapy. Now they need to go to therapy once a week. Now they need to go to the pharmacist once a week. Look how many people are involved now. Now they're going to therapy groups. Now they're online. They're making YouTube videos. They're in a Mr. Beast challenge. This person is relying on so many people, and they also have... You're cutting out again. You're cutting out. Chad, is it me or him?
I think it's probably your connection, because I think you're at a fucking hotel. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's him at his home where he streams all the time. This shit really just fucked. How am I doing, chat? How am I doing?
Chad, is he cutting his internet out?
Yeah.
Mine's fine. My stream's running fine. Okay. Okay. They're saying it's you, not me.
Dude, I swear, Sneako's schizophrenic. He's actually, like, just constantly schizo posting. Did he cut his internet out, bro? What kind of conspiracy brain are you, bro? Like, actually.
Okay, they're saying it's you, not me.
It's not me. What do you mean?
Okay,
you just refreshed your cam and it fixed it.
No, I left the call and join again. But I don't want to leave this point.
Okay.
Why? I want to hear a clear answer that makes sense. Because you said it's because you're relying on other people. But I've established that a trans person is relying on the pharmacist, is relying on the therapy.
I didn't say that. I didn't say relying. I said you are making a personal decision yourself. You are making a decision for you. When you are making a decision about marriage, you're bringing someone else in that is now not just you.
Just because you're bringing someone else in does not change the fact that it's a personal decision. Marriage is it's consent. It is deciding yes, regardless of the other person. But it's still a personal decision.
Can't possibly wrap their head around this adult that has been preying on them. Like, I don't know why you can't see that. A 16-year-old can't be making this decision on this adult who is convincing them that I am the right choice for you for life.
Right. But
I can't even talk about Charlie's arguments because they're all just kind of not making any sense. Like, everything he's saying is just like, bro, you just keep talking in circles, basically going like, you can't figure it out, you're too young, this person's preying on you. Because they could not be preying on you. It might, because literally the whole thing is, they might not be a pedophile, they might not even, because that's the thing, some people aren't even, like, it might not even be a case of pedophilia and literally just be a case of someone wanting, like, someone not understanding power dynamics and fucking over-asserting themselves into someone else's life, but we're not even fucking talking about that. You're literally just going like, but older people alive, they're bad. They're preying on you. What if they're not preying on them? What if the fucking 16-year-old was searching it out and fucking convinced them to finally go on a date? It's possible, but it's still not okay because of the power dynamics at play. Because of the fact that, the money and the relationship and the this and the that and the this and the whatever. And yeah, you could be like, there's 16-year-olds that have graduated from college and have a degree in physics and a job for NASA. And And so he should be able to get married. And it's like, you can think that, but the reason that we have this standard is because it's possible that he's not. Even though he appears to be and fits so many criteria, there's still a possibility that he's not. And that's why we should just wait the 2 extra years and then let him get married. Because if you're so against, if you only think people should have sex when they're married, then why are you so for people getting married at 14, 15, 16, 12? We'll say fucking 9 years old, you're cool with people getting married because fucking that's how old Aisha was or whatever the fuck in fucking Islam. But if you're okay with that, like just fucking everything is just like, I'm just getting my brain broken in half trying to like wrap my head around all this.
But a 9-year-old boy can go into a clinic and decide that that doctor, that 40-year-old doctor, can cut my penis off?
No, go get married though. Go marry a 30-year-old woman because that's better somehow.
If that's a decision he and his family wants to make, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So then,
and then you can have sex with her too, because then you're married, and you can only because he didn't say, "Oh, I'm not saying I would lower the age of consent. I'm saying that a 14-year-old should be allowed to get married, and then have sex."
why is it that bringing someone else into that marriage, why does that then make it wrong?
Also, can orphans never get married because they don't technically have parents?
Because it could be an adult with a child, which is that is an unacceptable dynamic under every possible circumstance.
In the doctor's office, in that gender therapy forever, it's still an adult and a child cutting off the penis, Moist.
You are not living with that fucking doctor. You have made a decision.
You're living with the decision of that doctor to cut the penis off. It's still living with the decision of another person too.
And that's life.
That literally just doesn't happen though too. I love that because he didn't push him on it, which he should have, just being like, that doesn't happen in America like at all ever. But in Islamic countries, they fucking they circumcise girls, so maybe look into that. You really want to fucking talk about genital mutilation? Fucking psychos. But literally, like, everything that he's saying is just so backwards. That's not true. They don't do that. And even if we are going to talk about gender dysphoria and kids wanting puberty blockers, that's a completely different circumstance that I probably wouldn't agree with in most circumstances. But like, if someone at 16, 17, like if he was saying like he's saying, so a 16-year-old, if a 16-year-old or 17-year-old wanted to get on puberty blockers, they probably wouldn't care that much. They're rounding off in puberty. I know that it's like they're finishing up, but like they'll prevent the last little bit of stages or whatever.
You live with decisions. Some people might regret it, sure. But within this marriage with an adult, that is a decision that is now, once they are in your life, it can be out of your hands. You can have this adult come in and just start beating the shit out of you. You can have all kinds of things. When you're with getting your penis cut
This is such a fucking weird thing to say.
off, you have made a decision.
Okay, what you're saying? You can get beat up. You can still get beat up out of marriage.
You absolutely can. But a child is never.
I mean, you could still get beat up in like a marriage with two consenting adults. Two fully grown adults can beat the shit out of each other. That doesn't stop anything.
We're going to be thinking about things like that because they can't. A child can't consent to marrying an adult.
But so why is a child smart enough to decide that he's now a woman that needs puberty blockers and cutting his penis off, but he can't decide upon marrying somebody that he's in love with?
How does he know he's in love with them?
The same. It's a feeling. It's something that you know. You talk to your family. You decide. How does a child
being in love with an adult?
Yes,
They're not the same thing. It's just the feeling you don't have a clear understanding of what it means to be in a romantic relationship at ages like 9, 10, 11, 12, and obviously younger than that clearly. But I'm just saying, like, at young ages, you don't have the mental capacity to understand what comes along with being in a romantic / sexual relationship.
Talk to sensible family.
Yes, I'm 16. I meet a 21-year-old woman. I say, Mom, Dad, I'm in love with this girl. I want to marry her. I feel like I'm in love. She's the right person for me. I want to do it. She's like, yes, yes, yes. Everyone's good. But that same a 9-year-old, they'd say, Mom, Dad, I want to cut my penis off, and you're gonna say that's good. But a 16-year-old who
No, that never happens.
feels in love, who's ready to commit, who's financially independent, that person cannot get married.
A 16-year-old will never be financially independent. A and B.
Oh, you should see my whole team. Do you know how many people that I work with that are financially ready?
You work with a lot of 16-year-olds.
Yes, I do.
Financially ready.
I work with.
Here's Sneako. I probably look like a lot of the Turkish guys you've been seeing in Turkey. Hey man, what the fuck is this shit? I fucking wanted to look you up on YouTube. The fuck is this? Talking about wanting to fuck children, man. That's insane. What's the age of consent in Turkey? Turkey age of consent. 18 years old. They walk up to him the next day. Man, what the fuck are you on about? I asked for your Instagram and I saw all this.
The person who runs my Telegram, I have Clippers, I have a lot of teenagers who are making more than my professors. They're ready. They're mentally, these people are mature. They're boxing every single day. They are more mature than a lot of the 24-year-olds I know that I went to school with that are still in their hometown doing nothing, eating popcorn every day and cutting their dick.
And he's only saying that because he's just a fucking pussy who's like afraid of all the people he went to high school with. Because he's like, they didn't understand me. They didn't understand me, and they were just fucking a bunch of woke liberals. Like, you're a fucking pussy, bro. You are such a coward who thinks that everybody that doesn't believe the way that you believe is a part of the Matrix and is afraid of the truth and can't understand the Matrix is controlling us. Like, what the fuck are you on about, bro? Oh, these kids in Turkey in the boxing club. Yeah, bro, it's because when you were in fucking high school, you didn't do anything. You were just fucking sitting around masturbating and fucking playing video games. When you could have been in a boxing gym, you could have been doing art classes, you could have been not doing fucking gay photography, whatever the fuck. And again, no hate. But when you establish a worldview after fucking doing something so insane, like getting your girlfriend fucked, and yes, I'll bring it up. I don't give a shit. We'll talk about whatever. It's funny. You literally did the thing of like, thought we were swinging, turned into a cuck. Like, bro, like what? Like, it's fucking insane that happened to you, bro. That is an L. That is quite an L. Like, if you walk in and you don't like her, you go, you don't like the girl you're supposed to be having sex with, bro, you go, no, we're not doing this. You don't hold your girlfriend's hand through it being like, good job, babe. Shake it a little harder.
Off like you believe. These people are ready to go because maturity changes for different people. For you to decide that a kid can cut his penis off but he can't get married makes absolutely no sense, and that's a society that crumbles. That's a society that allows them, that's your incest.
The society that flourishes is the one where a 14-year-old can marry someone in their 20s, Sneako. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Marriage is how society progresses because you need to create more life. Marriage, children should only be within a marriage. They should only be conceived within a marriage. Where they're not going around sleeping with different people, where they're not confused, where they're not a part of the community that has the highest suicide rate. They should not be a part of that. I want to be in a society full of happy married people that are ready to have children, that are God-fearing.
Those happy married people are sometimes, in your world, 14, 15, 16 years old.
Absolutely. If they are ready,
so
if they are ready to get married
to,
but see, you're so hung up on the fact that it could be an older person. Okay. If a 16-year-old is fine, what if a 16-year-old Moist meets another 16-year-old in a place?
We've already gone over that.
Okay.
Can you just call him Charlie instead of calling him Moist over and over again? Or call him Critical. Call him Critical. Be like, hey, Critical. Moist over and over again. Moist. Like that would be the adjective for his name.
In a place where the age of consent is 16, which is most of the country, right? Let's go off that. There's no Romeo and Juliet laws. Two 16-year-olds meet, they want to fuck. Can they do that?
In a place where the age of consent is 16, if it's two 16-year-olds, yeah, absolutely.
Can they get married?
That's never what we've been talking about.
Can they get married?
If it's legal for them to marry at 16, sure, they can.
No, it's not. In America, you have to be 18 to get married.
Then wait. Then they should.
He's like, ha, I got you, the fucking smirk, you fucking, bro, who gives a shit? Like, it's just so stupid. And I was about to say, I don't care, it's two 16-year-olds probably shouldn't get married either. Because again, it's like, you should wait at least a little bit to know what you like in a person, what you like in an individual. You should honestly be living with somebody before you marry them. Because you want to be able to know if somebody is, you're able to, like, get along in like in a close environment, in a closed environment, with nobody else being able to, play middleman. Then it takes a lot for people, so maybe figure that out.
Wait, okay, so they're both pedophiles.
And doing that at fucking 14 is like impossible when you just live with mom and dad and see how they react to each other and see how fucking you react with your siblings and stuff. None of that is going to benefit you in your romantic or sexual relationship.
Files?
What the fuck? No, there's no adult in that situation. They're both the same age.
The point that, see, this is where it goes back. The point I'm making is that you cannot follow the law. You cannot rely upon the government or these arbitrary numbers. The reason you believe in 18 is because you live in America right now where the age is 18. If you lived
you do too, though.
No, I don't.
You just said it. You wouldn't. So you don't believe it's 18. So you're gonna go fuck a 15.
This is not my personal preference, Moist. That has nothing to do with my personal preference.
Well, answer that question. You just said you don't. Are you gonna go fuck a 15-year-old in a place where you can?
That is not my. I don't want to have.
Just say yes or no. Just
no, I do not have sex out of wedlock. I've repeated this before. My point is,
had plenty of sex out of wedlock. When you were sexually active, would you have gone and fucked a 15-year-old?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so then you two also still abide by
because we believe in abiding the laws of. We don't break the law, but you're applying the law of the land to morality, and that's where things get confused because morality is not defined based off the government. If we follow morality, listen. If we follow morality defined based off the government,
you would hope, like how you go to an Islamic country in the hopes that their laws are better. You would hope that the fucking government oh my god. Like, even having to explain this is just so stupid. You would hope that the government that you live under would have a moral backing that fits the moral landscape that you live under. Like you don't want to be living somewhere. Like, why would that's why people were fucking trying to escape the USSR, because they didn't agree with the the communistic fascistic rule. The fucking same thing with Italy and fucking Nazi Germany. The fucking you would hope that people would try and make things different if they disagree with it. But yes, like, when you grow up most places, you're going to agree with them. So I don't understand why you want to move to an Islamic country when your parents move your hair over, when your parents didn't do that.
Government, then we would say that the war that's happening in Israel and Palestine is justified because the government is sending billions of dollars there. You cannot rely on the government upon that, because the government can be flawed. Morality does not come from these people that are elected. Morality comes from God. That's the only place that it can come from. Because if you were around, if you follow your logic, if you were around people, all of them, that thought incest was okay, that thought bestiality was okay, you would follow it because you follow the people that are around. That's the only reason you believe 18, because that's what you see in Hollywood movies, because that's what the government told you as an adult. Not because it's something a personal.
It is the agreed upon age.
But you keep saying that it's not even agreed. That's not true. Wait, it's not even.
Shouldn't go down.
It's not even agreed upon. And nowhere.
It is. It is though. Most people, if you right now, have you had sex with a 16-year-old as an adult, Sneako?
No, I have not.
Okay, if you did, how do you think people would respond to it, even in your own community? If you said that you had sex with a 16-year-old,
They would be completely disgusted.
Exactly, because most people agree at a certain level needs to be established, and that level is 18. So under no circumstances should a 14, 15, 16-year-old be getting married and having sex with an adult.
Okay, let's go to the doctor disrespect situation, because there was a lot of hypocrisy, right? He messaged a 17-year-old.
That's not true. Show me the evidence of him messaging.
I haven't seen any evidence. See, all the streamers within your community, they were so quick to admonish Dr. Disrespect without seeing any evidence at all. We saw Chris Tyson, and then they waited 3 days like you would post a video. I did
it within like 6 hours.
No, you didn't. I did. Okay, if you decided,
what are you talking about? The full video came out less than 24 hours after the initial break of all the information, and I had that first video go.
How long did it take for the Dr. Disrespect video to come out?
Over 24 hours.
Did it? How long did it take for you to tweet?
And in the first
how
video,
long did it take for you to tweet?
How there's no concrete evidence of who he was talking to.
How long did it take for you to tweet?
Who gives a fuck about a tweet, bro? You're the only one that's tweet watching, like, legit.
I waited till his second response, so that was 3 days later.
It was 3 days. You didn't tweet right away?
Nope.
Okay, then you were the outlier, and most streamers, all of them, they waited. They didn't say anything. They wanted them to.
Bro's twat watching. It's crazy.
That's besides the point. MoistCr1tikal, if you DM'd a girl that was 17 years old, 3 to 64 days, should everybody be discussing with you?
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty disgusting. Yeah, I don't think you should be communicating with someone under 18, no matter what.
Okay.
I think low-key, if you were messaging a girl that just turned 18, if you were even a guy, and I've heard of this, of a guy where it was like, she just turned 18, now we're dating or whatever. I'm like, bro, were you waiting? You can tell me, no, I wasn't. I didn't even know her. Don't lie, bro. You see her Instagram before? Don't bullshit me.
Is that
crazy.
disgusting?
It's weird.
Yeah, I think it's disgusting.
You wait a day.
Like Cody Ko having sex with Tana when she's 17, I think that's disgusting.
Okay, say she's 17 years old, 364 days. He waits one more day. Is he still disgusting?
I still think in that position, yeah. I think that's still a huge power dynamic issue that you're getting into with that one. But
wait. That's disgusting. But I thought you said 18 was an adult.
Well, yeah, it is. Like, you're not going to jail.
Okay, so now it's disgusting for 2 adults to have sex?
Oh my god.
It's disgusting for someone to be using this kind of position in the example you're giving. That's a power dynamic issue.
But so Cody Ko waits one more day, then they have sex, and he's still disgusting, but it's 2 adults. Why is that disgusting?
People are still, like, I would be upset hearing that. Cody Ko was in a different position than Tana at the time, and he was also in a much different place. And even if he waited till 18, while it's not illegal, it still wouldn't be a good thing. It's not something to celebrate.
Not celebrate, but you think it's disgusting. You think it's reprehensible.
I think it would be a bad thing, for sure. Yeah, I don't think it would be a good thing.
Is he a pedophile?
No, he would not be a pedophile.
Okay.
And I also...
Okay, he's not a pedophile. The day before. 17, 364 days. Is he a pedophile?
Technically,
no.
He's not a pedophile because he's not a pedophile because he doesn't have a recurring, or actually he does. Wait, so he might be. He was 25. If he was 25 when it happened, then yes, he's a pedophile because if he did it to multiple girls, I never thought about that because it's over 6 years. That's crazy. Sneako, you just uncovered something.
I think yes. Let's just we're going to use a green definition. If you don't wait till 18. If you don't wait till 18, you will we'll just do pedophile.
There you go.
People like to argue beefophile or whatever it's called, but let's just say if you fuck someone under 18, you are pedophile.
You're a pedophile. So this is just like the word misogynistic. I get called a misogynistic all the time. Right? I was just in France recently, and there was a girl literally massaging my head. She's 27 years old. She's massaging my hair standing on the street, and the soy boy comes up to me with earrings. He says, "I hate you. You're a misogynist." He says, "I hate you," and he doesn't know. And I ask him like, "What does misogynist mean?" He doesn't know. Right? The same reason that your definition of pedophile does not even follow the actual definition of the word is the same thing.
I'm gonna rewind that story real quick. Bro said she was rubbing my hair just to not talk. I thought she was gonna say something about it or something. Just because a girl was around, that means he's not a misogynist. Is that what he was trying to say?
Hair standing on the street, misogynistic. I get called a misogynistic all the time. Right? I was just in.
I get called a misogynistic all the time.
France recently, and there was a girl literally massaging my head. She's 20.
Girl massaging my head. She's 27 in France. Age of consent in France. What's age of consent in France? Age of consent France. 15. Was she, Sneako? What were you doing in France? All these opinions. What were you doing in France, Sneako?
7 years old. She's massaging my hair standing on the street, and the soy boy comes up to me with earrings. He says, "I hate you. You're a misogynist." Says, "I hate you." And he doesn't know. And I ask him, like, what does misogynist mean? He doesn't know. Right? The same reason that
I'd find it very hard to believe that someone wouldn't know what misogynist means. It literally just, to call you a misogynist is literally just go, he hates women. It's as simple as that. You don't like women. And then he goes, no, that's not what misogynist means. A misogynist means man thinks men are better than women. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. And he's like, see, you don't even know what it means. Sneako's just a fucking semantic god. He believes in definitions. He reads the dictionary every day. He loves that dick in his mouth.
your definition of pedophile does not even follow the actual definition of the word is the same thing when people throw around the term misogynist and they don't know what it means. That's what happens when you get to throw
As I
around.
just said, I know it's not the definition of the word, but we're just using terms so we can all be on the same
Okay,
page.
but words have meanings for a reason. You can't just make up a definition of a word.
It's a beebophile. If you have sex with someone under 18 but over 12, you're a beebophile or whatever it's called.
Okay, so he's not a pedophile anymore. You just changed it. So now he's a beebophile?
Well, I'd still use just that word. It's bad. Yeah, if you are having sex with like a 16, 17-year-old, it's bad pedophile behavior.
Okay, so it's not a beebophile anymore. It's a pedophile.
You're talking about terms. The correct term is a
I want to figure.
Oh my god, yeah, this is what I mean, is he's just trying to have a semantic argument, and it's just fucking stupid, because this isn't a semantic, like, conversation. This isn't a thing about, like, the definitions, because I think there are some categorical things that you can talk about when it comes to these kind of, like, conversations, but this isn't one of them. He's literally talking about the age of consent.
Figure out, because Moist, we can't have a discussion if we don't define terms.
You were the one that immediately got mad that I used pedophile incorrectly to just do a blanket term for
Exactly.
under 18.
I didn't get mad, but I'm pointing out if we define a term and then you change the definition of the term within the conversation, then the conversation
I'm not
makes
changing the term. You got upset because it's not the strict definition of pedophile. It is someone that hasn't gone through puberty. So we're using just this term to refer to anyone under 18.
Okay, so we're using
It
words.
wasn't a textbook definition.
So we're using words, and we don't care about the meaning anymore.
You're doing the same thing.
No, I'm following. I'm not trying to do a gotcha. I'm following your line of logic. We're using. So Cody Co's a pedophile. Based on your logic, Cody Co's a pedophile. Even though he's not a pedophile.
We're using that term. Yeah, he had sex with a 17-year-old.
It's not. We're not just using. We're not using the term. It's
statutory rape. It's statutory rape.
That's not what I'm not talking about. Statutory. I'm asking you. Is he?
That's the legal term. It's statutory rape. Having sex with a 17-year-old after you're an adult.
So you changed the term again. It was first beebophile, now pedophile, now statutory rape. Which one? Which one? See, the reason that I'm having this discussion with you is
Oh my god, Sneako, why the fuck does any of this matter? Like, oh my god.
you can't use arbitrary words that have no meaning to apply to somebody, because that's how you cancel somebody. That's how you just say things around. That's how you get to shame somebody, ruin their reputation. That's when words lose all meaning. And if we lose the meaning of words, then society makes no sense. Then nothing makes any sense. Then kids can cut their dicks off. You're not understanding what I'm saying. You need to have words. Need to have meanings, or else everything crumbles. Or else the very fabric of society does not make sense.
Can words not have multiple definitions, and can a definition not have multiple, words to go along with it?
If we're using words that don't have meaning.
We are. Age of consent has meaning. It's 18, and you are the one that's trying to redefine it.
You're going back. You just said that he's a pedophile, but he's not a pedophile. It's statutory rape.
You're judging what I'm saying.
I'm not judging. You're calling him a pedophile because it fits, but he's not because it's a bad word, because it's morally bad. But he's not a pedophile because it's this day. No, the words you're using do not make sense.
You talk in circles.
I'm not talking in circles.
You wanted one term to encompass what I believe under 18, and since I use pedophile, it's not the textbook definition. I said that the textbook one would be a pedophile, or statutory rape is the charge of what it would be. It's a crime.
Okay. Do words need to have definitions?
Yes, and so does the age of consent.
When we use the English language, should the words that we use match the definition of the word?
Yes.
Yes. You're not doing that.
You don't.
How is he not? I mean, he just explained clearly what he meant. So that was just even more of a stupid thing to say.
What? Statutory rape, then. We won't use colloquial.
There you go. So within this conversation, you changed. Cody Co is no longer a pedophile. He's a statutory rapist. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is he a pedophile still, or just a statutory rapist?
Statutory rape.
Okay, so he's not a pedophile.
No, we won't use that term.
It's not we won't. You're saying we won't use because you're operating within a bubble of cancel culture. Do you need
No, it's not cancel culture. It's a 17. Do you think him fucking a 17-year-old is a big deal?
No, I don't. I think
It's not talking about cancel culture. It's you caring so much about categorization. Like, why does that matter to you? Why is that like the final say all? Is like, somebody called me a pedophile. Who gives a shit? If it's legal in your country, Sneako, go ahead. Have fun. Fucking, you'll still be a creep. People are still gonna fucking call you a creep. Like, that's what it comes down to.
it's bad. I don't think you should have sex out of wedlock. I don't think that's something to be. I don't think that's like incredible. I don't think that's. But do I think that like she was? I think she was physically mature. I don't think she was like traumatized from it. I think she's clout chasing going every single podcast. Do I think that he's a pedophile? No. She looked like she was mature. She looked like she definitely went through puberty. Definitely wasn't the first person she had sex with, and maybe it was in a state when age was 16. So legally, based on the definition, no. Morally.
That's stupid too. Because if you were so against being out of wedlock, you should care more.
Based on the definition, no. It was in Florida, so isn't it? What's the age there? 17?
18.
You sure?
almost positive.
See, you don't even know. So now you're trying to think, wait, is he a pedophile or not? It's either she's a child or she's not. These are very simple definitions that we need to follow. And if we follow your Googling, if we follow your line of thinking, that's when things get crazy. That's when kids can cut their penises off. That's when I'm a woman right now.
Kids can marry at 14 and 15 in your ideal world.
You know what's so silly about the situation is when you talked about Chris Tyson. Did you see the number one viral clip I saw? I know you saw it. Did you see it?
Which one?
People were getting angry at you that you misgendered Chris Tyson.
I didn't misgender anybody though. I only referred to Ava by her name.
I heard misgendering. I saw the clip. The one viral was they.
Well, yeah, I used they, but I only used her name, and I used they when referring to most people in general. I say they a lot. And when I was at the Mr. Beast thing, Ava was referred to by they by one of the staff, so I just played it safe and said Ava, and I didn't want to offend anybody because I am not transphobic. Like I never have been. I don't have hate in my heart.
They're calling you transphobic.
I know.
People that live within your frame of thinking, the Western civilization mind, that hive mind, they're calling you a transphobe now for calling.
I also love this because I haven't seen anything like that about what Charlie said. I literally don't even think I watched Charlie's video on it because why the fuck would I give a shit about Charlie's opinion on fucking Ava Tyson? It's literally like I've watched a few videos on it. I was thinking about talking about it. It seems like things keep changing in the in like what the actual truth is and like the It seems like she's a creep when she was a he was a creep. So, you know, the internet was different back then. People were saying crazy shit, but it's the repeated nature of it because but I also I don't know. It comes it's a double-edged sword because obviously it was like the internet was a different place back then. People talked differently, but it doesn't mean those things were okay. They were never okay, but the reason people were saying them is because they were fucked up. So I think we should kind of think about it from that lens rather than assuming like the nature of it being anything vile or heinous.
Chris pedophile Tyson. What do you think about that?
It hurts. I don't like to see it, but it is what it is. I should have looked into the preferred pronouns more. I just made an assumption that people just be safe and use Ava's name. Like, that's to go beyond that.
That points out the problem, the flaw of thinking of Western civilization, this little mind. When somebody gets exposed for messaging children and saying like this guy was exposed for liking lolly porn.
Disrespect.
Yeah, Dr. Respect. That's the same thing. What he did was wrong. Both are wrong.
You defended him though. No, you still in this conversation.
I never defended Dr. Respect. Never. What did I say that defended him? What I said was I'm pointing out the flaw. Everybody's so quick to hate him, but then Chris Tyson comes along and all those people are silent.
No,
right?
Even before.
No. I never defended him. No, I never defended him. What he's doing is wrong. He's a married man. He shouldn't be doing that. I said that he should not be doing that, and what he did was wrong.
But you said that the 17-year-old thing is not a big deal at all.
But yeah, I don't. It's not. It's not. But it's bad. He should not do it.
Just making that carve out for it is just such an odd thing to do and shows your like what you're trying to argue. Because why even bring that up? Go like, oh, you could argue, oh, he's a married man, this is disgusting that he would do that. But then to specify specifically, I don't care that she's 17. It's like, bro, what? Who gives a shit? Because also, you don't know if she's 17. Like, she could have been a fucking 13-year-old. She could have been a 1-year-old. You don't know. She could be a really talented on her iPad, be texting you.
Does that make him a pedophile? No. My point is, Chris Tyson, what he did absolutely wrong. Like, what Dr. Disrespect is wrong. The point is, Chris Tyson gets exposed for messaging actual children, and the woke mob that you're controlled by, they get mad at you for misgendering instead of the fact that this guy is actually messaging children. This is the world that we live in now. You do a video condemning a pedophile, an actual pedophile, and
I completely forgot the point I was going to make is that he kind of exposed himself that he just is so obsessed and fucking echo chambered and hug boxed by the woke media and fucking all these things. It's all he sees on his timeline. I didn't see anything about what Charlie said. I'm not going to give a shit what Charlie said, but like he seems to fucking focus so heavily on it that it's like on his feed. Your feed is created by the things that you look at. And like I think there's some generic things, like I think every time you put male, your beginning account is gonna get fucking bikini pictures. But like this whole idea of like, oh, didn't you see what the woke mob is saying? No, I didn't, Sneako. I don't follow those accounts. Why are you?
instead of talking about that, they focus, the clip that goes viral is MoistCr1tikal misgenders Chris Tyson the pedophile. Insanity world. You can't follow the ever-changing morality of the West because then it's misgendering is going to be canceled. And on Twitch you can't even misgender. You can't say there's two genders on Twitch on the platform you're on. That's the reason you're not streaming right now. This is the problem. You need to have consistent morality.
I have a conversation with you again, that's all. I wasn't going to stream it or anything.
I know, but I'm saying this conversation, if you
just said that's why I wasn't, but...
Well, if you have this conversation on Twitch, you would get in trouble. The point is, if the ever-changing rules of this Western thing where they keep adapting love is love versus gays, then it's LGBT, then it's LGBTQI.
No, he's getting in trouble because he's just making a lot of stupid arguments.
Hey, and then it's just accept them, and then it's cut their penises off, and then it's take hormones, and then it's kids can take hormones, and then it's kids can cut their dicks off, and then they're parading through the streets, and then they're waving their dicks out in the public.
We can do the same song and dance with your ideal world too. You're not setting anything defined. Your age of maturity is not a number. You haven't put a number on it. That leads to the same thing. Well, all of a sudden it's okay for a 14-year-old to marry a 16-year-old. Well, why is it okay for that, but not a 12-year-old to marry a 16-year-old? Like you can keep.
I am drawing a line, but what you're not understanding is
what's the number?
Maturity. It's not a number.
What is the number? What is the number? It must be a number, or else you can do the same thing.
I just told you there's not a number.
But do you see why it's a problem?
No.
If there's no defined. So why can't a 12-year-old marry an 18-year-old?
Because most 12-year-olds haven't gone through puberty yet. And most 12-year-olds...
As you just said, it changes. What if a 12-year-old went through puberty early, the parents consent, the 18-year-old and the parents consent? Can they do it?
Most likely that's not going to happen. Because Islamically...
If we're not talking most likely, just say it. Can they do it?
If there's harm involved, then it's not going to happen.
How do you know there's harm involved? You wouldn't know until it happens.
If the family's not going to... If it's not good for the child, if the child's not mentally ready yet, if the child's not mature...
The kid is consented?
If the family's consented, the kid is mature, the kid is ready... Why should I
At
stop
12
it?
years old. At 12 years old.
If the kid is physically mature, the parents consent, both parties are
A
happy.
12-year-old being physically mature.
If that's the only line that actually makes sense. We just established how yours
How
doesn't
does
make
that
any
make
sense.
sense?
We just
How does
established how
that
yours
make
makes no sense, right? Because you changed the definition 50 times. I'm saying there is no consistent line. People mature at different ages.
Neither
Who am I
is
to
the
tell you?
definition of maturity. You keep saying how it fluctuates.
Yes.
Like you are admitting it fluctuates.
Do you agree that
Some
people,
people are
okay, do people mature at different ages?
People mature at all kinds of
Physical maturity has nothing to do with your mental acuity and the ability to like discern in like moments where it's needed, being able to do things appropriately, being able to act accordingly. Physical maturity has nothing to do with that.
different ages.
Exactly.
There needs to be a set one. Like 18. 18 being agreed upon one makes it very set in stone with what is and is not acceptable. In your world, you just said a 12-year-old can be physically mature enough to marry an 18-year-old. That's a problem.
That's a problem.
That is huge. Yes.
I don't
That's a huge
encourage.
issue.
I don't encourage this, but I would much rather live in a society that allows a physically ready, whatever age, if I'm 14 something, if they're physically ready, the parents consent. I'd much rather live in a society that encourages marriage instead of cutting your penis off. That's the issue. You can't have this.
See, do you see why that's creepy though? So then we'll extend it to you. Let's say again, all of this is going through the Sneako utopias here. You got 14-year-olds marrying, all of this. Are you going to play by those rules now? Are you going to start looking at 14-year-olds that might be physically mature?
You've asked me this question 3-4 times, and I've given you the same answer. That's not my personal taste. That's not what I like. I want somebody that's around. I want a girl that's younger than me. I'm 25. I'd rather. You know that peak fertility happens when after you go through puberty, like when a girl's 16. That's peak fertility.
So you want a peak fertility 16?
I don't. I'd rather a girl. My ideal wife person. If you're gonna ask a personal question, my ideal wife is probably 20, 21 years old. When I'm 26, 27. That's the ideal. If she's 24, she's 23. That's fine. There's an age gap. Okay. And you know what's funny about that? If I'm 25 and if my ideal wife is 20, if you go follow the Romeo and Juliet laws, in a couple years before I'd be a pedophile. Okay. This is why it's silly.
It's not silly though. There needs to be an age. You're not giving an age. You're giving an obtuse definition of maturity, which fluctuates so much from 12 years old to 14 years old.
Let's look up the definition of maturity. If I'm giving an obtuse definition of maturity, let's look it up and see who's following it.
Okay, so now
Everybody can
found your beliefs.
I told you I believe in it, and I'm pretty sure this is what
You
the definition of
can't give a number.
The definition of maturity is the state, fact, or period of being mature. You know what it does not say? 18. It does not say an age. Maturity depends on the state.
I want you to say one, because there needs to be one in a society.
Why do you want me to say one?
Because there has to.
You can't fucking, bruh. That was like the most redundant definition ever. I forget what that's called, where you can't use a definition that uses the word in the definition. Maturity is a state of being mature. Now give us the definition of what mature is.
There has to be an age. If you don't agree that it's 18, then what should it be? You said when you can legally drive. That makes it 15 or 16.
We're going in circles, and I told you. And I said the age of driving should be the same as age of consent. You said it's because of maturity, correct?
18 is, yes, 18 is
No.
that.
You said adulthood means maturity, correct?
No, you said you wanted to abolish the age of consent. Quit lying.
Adulthood means over 18, yeah. That's when you are outside of your parents again. You're not a child.
That's not actually what the definition of the word means. You are making up a definition of maturity. Same thing as with childhood.
Same thing you're doing with your ideal world. Like, all of it is, you have to have these. They have to be there. Like, there needs to be an age. Like, there just has to be. You can't have these arguments where children are marrying adults.
Why do you have to have an age?
Because then you end up in a situation like we just showed with a 12-year-old and an 18-year-old where you said that's okay. That's not.
And why is that wrong?
That is completely wrong. That is a 12-year-old.
Okay, you said
18-year-old.
Remove the age for a second because I think it's confusing you. Why is that wrong?
That is someone who is literally still in middle school. That is someone who is playing with fucking dolls right now.
That's a middle schooler and a high schooler. But why is that wrong? Tell me why that's
No,
wrong.
someone who's going off to college. Most likely.
Tell me why that's wrong.
The person going off to college is driving. The person going off to college is working. The person going off to college is in a totally different state than someone who's literally still playing with dolls. Like, that is not okay under any circumstances at all.
So you're saying it's because there are different stages in life?
It's a child versus an adult. I guess to even get back a little bit, do you think there's not a problem with a child being with an adult?
Okay. We haven't even agreed upon what a child and an adult is. You keep saying that's
under
18.
18.
That's, and I'm telling you, that's not even the definition of the word. You're having a
You don't
conversation.
care about definitions most of the time, though. Like, you're not even using a definition for maturity that has an age attached to it that needs to be in place.
Because that's not the definition of maturity, right? We can't have this conversation if we don't set in stone what these words mean. Child means somebody that is not physically mature. Adult means somebody that's physically mature. That's what those words mean. You are making up based off of numbers what defines these words, and that's not even what the words mean. So you can call it beebophile.
And even if you wanted to make we could make this argument like this. It's wrong because they're at different stages of their life. And then he could say, well, what if they're really advanced and they're in college and they have a job and they're da-da-da-da. And most of the time, they're still not the mental capacity to be able to take care of themselves fully and would be under the care of their parents. And that is why they're still not able to consent to marriage or sex. Oh my God.
You can call it statutory rape. You can call that what that is, but that's not what those words mean. And I'll concede to that. If you want to call it those words that actually mean what they say, then fine. But based on child and adult, you're wrong.
Okay, so then I guess we just won't see eye to eye on it. So,
but it's not even seeing eye to eye. Why can't you accept the definition of these words? Is the dictionary wrong?
No, like I said, the definitions are fine of these words like maturity and all that. But that does.
The definition of child is somebody who's not physically mature yet. Are you okay with the definition? Are you okay with the definition of child?
That is a fine definition of child.
Okay. Are you okay with the definition of adult? Somebody who's physically mature?
Yeah, that's a fine definition too.
Then you are on the same page as me. Child and adult.
Because I still agree there needs to be a line where these two things get separated. There needs to be a place where this one is a child, this one is an adult.
But then you're being hypocritical. You contradicted yourself because if now you're agreeing that what separates a child and adult is physical maturity, then it's puberty. And early in this conversation, you said before 18, if someone has sex with someone before 18, they're pedophile. After 18, they're good. Now you're not saying that. You're going in circles. So it's either
What did I contradict?
the definition of pedophile is child lover, right? The definition we define that. Okay, so we define three terms: child, somebody not physically mature; adult, somebody physically mature; pedophile, child lover. Okay. Now, based off those definitions, 18 has nothing to do with it. There's no numbers.
But there needs to be. That's the point I'm making. There needs to be. You can't leave these things up to ambiguous well, this person and their family consented to marrying this 13-year-old and their family consented, so it's fine. It's not. It can't be.
Do you concede that you've changed your definition of all these words in the conversation?
Probably. This has been so all over the place. I don't know where we're at. So there's a very good chance.
You started off by saying, and you said it so many times in the conversation, that 18 means an adult and before 18 is a child. Now you're saying it's physical maturity.
No, I'm still dead strong. 18, adult, under 18, child.
Is anybody else hearing this?
Like
you just changed your opinion in the span of 10 seconds.
Well, I've never
in the span of 10 seconds. I justified these and you agreed. I said child is not physically mature. Adult is.
Bro, Sneako just keeps saying stuff and then going, you agreed to that though, but you agreed to it. No, you just fucking said it. You just stated it. What are you talking about, bro? Bruh.
Physically mature. Pedophile is child lover. You agreed. Then I brought 18 and then you changed it. Now 18 is adult.
That's not usually, those definitions are fine, but that you still need to classify in society what is and is not an adult, where that maturity is on a number. Okay. You have to do that.
The number has nothing to do with physical maturity, the definition that you disagree upon.
It 100% does in terms of this relationship between a child and a fucking adult. It does.
I don't even know what you think a child is anymore. Is it somebody physically mature or somebody under 18?
In society, but if you want to find a child with puberty, that's fine, because that is the textbook definition of a child.
Okay, and you agree that's what the definition is?
Yes, that is a fine definition. But you can still fall under 18 and be a child.
Okay.
That is the point. Fair. You are under 18, you're a child, you fall into
I understand what you're saying now. I can understand your difference between legal and morality, right? There's a difference between legal and morals, right? Is Dr. Disrespect messaging, I don't know if he messaged a 17-year-old, it's fine. Let's use hypothetical. He messages a 17-year-old, is he a pedophile?
As we've gone in circles. I would say it's a bad thing, and if we're going to use
no, it's a simple question.
I would say you are going to a child.
You're not making sense. You don't know what this person is. You just said it's somebody physically mature.
It is just stupid, yeah, because technically not pedophilia. I was joking earlier when we were talking about, because it's like, it's not technically, it'd be habibophilia or whatever, just someone that's over the age, or that's past the point of puberty, but still under the age of 18 or whatever. And that's fine if you want to use those arguments, but the point is that it's wrong and creepy and weird and bad and stupid.
Minor. He said it's a minor.
You changed the words. I've heard so many different words for you. It's a legal minor, but is he a pedophile?
Yes, it's talking to a child. Yeah. We're going to simplify it even further. Yes, he's talking to a child.
There's no such thing.
Your morality is arbitrary. It depends on nothing that makes it doesn't make physical sense, because you just said it's based on maturity and now it has to do with age. Those are two separate things.
I never said there's no consistency.
And I know I'm stupid for that. There is like a legal pedophile or whatever, somebody that's put on the registry for pedophilia, but like my whole thing is it's just like trying to go based off of like a legal standard. Oh my! When we're talking about something that's like a medical. Because he's not even using like the legal definition for pedophilia, because he's literally going like, I love all these fucking freeze frames of Sneako have been perfect. But everything he's been saying has just been like these fucking really short definitions that he makes up himself. The definition of an adult is someone past maturity. The definition of a child is someone before puberty. The definition of pedophile is a child lover. Like, those aren't the definitions of any of those words at all. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Those are just fucking made up definitions that are like summaries of the definitions that can be used to misconstrue it in some kind of fucking convoluted way.
There always needs to be a line. You can define a child based on puberty and adult based on maturity, that's fine, but there needs to be a line where this line, over it is adult, under it is child. That's
not even what you believe in.
How is that not what I believe in?
Because you just said it's maturity.
What do you mean?
You just said it's physical maturity. Why are you following something that you don't believe in?
What are you talking about? The definition of child and adult is fine, but there needs to be a line in society where over here you go into this category, under here you go into this category. It's crucial.
Okay.
Otherwise,
leave the
15 and 16-year-olds are marrying adults.
Leave the legal thing out of it. Dr. Disrespect is messaging a physically mature 17-year-old who's.
I don't believe there's such a thing. I don't believe there's such a thing.
You just said there was.
No, it's under a child. Under 18, you fall into the child category. You had puberty probably, or maybe not, as you said, but you fell into the child category under 18. It's just, to me, it's that black and white. I don't think there's a huge argument. I don't know why that's so hard to understand, brother.
Last time, because we're going in circles.
I know.
An adult is someone who's physically mature, correct?
The definition of adult's maturity, yep, and over 18.
Not the definition. We need to agree upon a definition.
Really, the definition's fine. The definition doesn't bother me.
So do you agree? The definition.
Oh my god, Sneako's just the one who's not willing to agree to a definition. He's going, the definition of an adult is someone who's above maturity. Why? Why is that the fucking definition? Why? Explain that to me. Why? What is maturity? Define maturity. That is such like a fucking, like...
A child is somebody not physically mature.
So you're talking about physical maturity. Physical maturity is such a fucking stupid way to look at things. It is. Because, yeah, you're talking about a 13-year-old girl. Yeah, there were girls when I was in 6th, 7th grade that were overly developed. That were having physical relationships with, like, almost adult high schoolers. Those guys were pedophiles. Because, yes, they're not technically prepubescent. They're in the current stage of puberty, but, like, it's still just the the different levels, literally, of going to a high school football game and hooking up with a high school senior when you are a middle schooler is wrong, no matter what way you want to look at it. And if you want to go like, well, yeah, it's wrong because they're not married, even if they were married, that's just wrong. The level of maturity is not there. And yeah, maybe the physical maturity. No. You're talking about like physical development. You're not talking about maturity. You're talking about physical development.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Yes.
That's fine.
A child is somebody not physically mature, correct? Hold that thought.
Okay, not physically mature.
Yes. Dr. Disrespect, message, a physically mature 17-year-old.
No such thing. You can't prove it. How's the 17-year-old physically mature? They're not. So in my eyes, 18.
Do you understand what a hypothetical is?
See, he believes in maturity like in terms of ripeness for food. He believes in maturity as like you've become ripe now, rather than it being like, no, you are mentally mature and physically developed. That's the difference, because you can be physically underdeveloped but mentally mature when you were an adult. That is impossible.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
Okay.
I thought you were.
It's a physically mature 17-year-old.
Okay.
Based off your definition, an adult.
Uh-huh.
An adult 17-year-old, correct?
Nope. No such thing as an adult 17-year-old. There's no such thing as an adult 17-year-old.
Somebody
That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
You just said it exists.
I never said a 17-year-old could be an adult.
When does someone become an adult? Okay. Based off. I can't believe I'm hearing this right now. I genuinely can't. Okay.
It's super simple. 18 is when the maturity starts to kick in, and that's when you become the adult. That's what we've established. Anything under that, you're still a child. You could have gone through.
Are you afraid of getting canceled or something? Like, this doesn't make
No,
any
it's
sense.
what I believe. Like it's just that.
But it's literally not what you believe.
How is it not what I believe?
You just said an adult is somebody physically mature.
Right. And I don't think you can be physically mature under 18.
What?
I don't think you can be physically mature under 18.
Puberty has nothing to do with age.
What does that have to do with anything I'm missing?
If I'm a man, I go through puberty at 17. I physically become an adult. Right? It has nothing to do with 18. Do you understand this? Now I'm an adult because I'm physically mature.
Are you 18?
All right, you really don't want to get canceled. This is
No, it's just the truth. You need that there.
This is
I
incredible.
think that's where the distinction goes. I think it's super simple.
All right. I hope everybody listening can see where the consistency, because I don't think I'm going to get through you. You're looping. But I hope you're able to see, maybe you are too, but I think that you're just afraid of like losing a platform or something, or getting angry.
No, it's just
your audience
I think
angry
it's
with
that
you.
simple
But do you
as
see how arbitrary this is to define pedophile based off of a specific number, even though it doesn't physically even make sense?
No, I don't see why that's silly. I think that's entirely necessary.
Okay.
Because you need that number. Otherwise, you're going to have 14 and 15-year-olds marrying adults, like you said is okay.
Okay. Yeah. Just incredible. Where does your morality? I want to leave on this. I know you touched on it a little bit earlier, but I do want to touch on this before I go. Where does your morality come from?
We already went over this, right? Personal experience and everything I take in from the world and process up in here.
Okay. 10 years ago, did you believe that a child can go through transgender therapy? Can they cut the penis off?
10 years ago, I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't unaware of it, and then when I learned about it, I formed my own morality on it based on everything I saw, read, came to my own conclusions.
Okay. If I told you when you were a kid that it was okay legally and morally to cut your dick off, would you agree?
Like, what do you mean? Would I do it, or would I say that that's okay?
Would you say that that's okay?
I have no idea how to even process something like that. I'm a fucking child.
How old do you know?
29.
Okay. When you were 10 years ago, like, and you had heard about, because this was still bubbling, there was I think Caitlyn Jenner was first popping up. This was like the talk of the town. If I told you 10 years ago, try to remember that Trump was running for president, 2014, what's happening? Like Obama's still in office, right? I tell you it's okay to cut kids' penises off. You saying that's cool?
So 10 years ago?
Yeah.
I'd say let me look into it, and probably if it's a decision they came to with professionals and their family, I'd say yeah. I'd say you have the right to make that decision for yourself. Yeah.
I'd probably go, whoa, what? And then I'd be like, let me look into that. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, I don't care, because yeah, I was a kid. I think me and Sneako are around the same age. If he's 25, I'm 23. So I don't know.
Can you? I don't know how to get through to like the people.
Like, cool, I don't care,
why?
bro.
Because why is it okay? Why? Okay, I'm not
10 years ago, if you'd asked me about it, I'd be like, I don't know, bro. I'm trying to beat this level on Batman Arkham City. Can you shut the fuck up, please? Go cut your dick off. I don't care. That's what I would have probably said to him.
Why do you think a kid can consent to that, but they can't consent to marriage? Why can a kid consent?
We're going in circles. I just said when it comes to a marriage, it's no longer just a personal decision. It's not. You take on.
We've also established that transgender surgery is also not a personal decision.
It is a decision.
To be fair, yeah. I mean, it's more of a personal decision than a marriage. A marriage is your agreement to a union in which you are now not just responsible for yourself, you are responsible for another person. Getting a transgender surgery, even if you were to get it as a child, is technically a personal decision because it doesn't affect anybody but yourself. And you could hate it. You could, well, you know, people hate a lot of things about themselves, but it's more of a personal decision than a marriage.
You are making.
You're also saying I do to the marriage, which is a personal decision.
And then you are bringing in an entirely new family dynamic from this adult.
And why does that then make it wrong? Because other people are involved.
Because this is an adult. This is a predator who is coming into your life.
A predator?
Yeah. If you are marrying an adult as a child, that's a predator.
Okay, it's not predatory for the doctor to lure a kid into an office and cut his penis off.
Oh, he's luring kids into the office now.
Yeah, there's advertisements. Chris Tyson from
He's got a piece of candy.
maybe a kid saw your collab with Mr. Beast. He got inspired by Chris Tyson. He gets lured in because Chris Tyson.
Maybe a 24-year-old watched your streams like, oh, you know what? This 15-year-old's pretty mature. I'm gonna go ahead and start trying to talk to them. Do you think that's cool?
No, that's not cool. You're supposed to talk to the father before you get married. If her father's not okay with it,
that's the issue you have with that scenario.
Yeah, but when you approach marriage, you don't just go approach a girl, and that's not what Islamically is allowed. You're supposed to go to the father and supposed to see where it goes from there. So that's what I say.
24-year-old talks to the father of a 15-year-old and gets his permission. That's cool.
Yeah, to the father and say like, am I interested in marrying your physically mature, your adult daughter? Okay, is she okay with it?
Your 15-year-old daughter.
Get the consensus. Yes, and if he's okay with it, she's okay with it. I think that's fine. That's fine.
Like I just don't see how we'll ever see eye to eye on that. Like to me,
I think historically the way it would work is they'd find somebody physically attractive, and then they'd offer some amount of, whether it be money or product for the offering of the daughter. And then it just kind of goes from there. And I don't think that's right either. Because then they go, this guy's great for you. He has a good house. I hear he has multiple camels as well. Few bison. And one giraffe. As well as a cougar. He is quite the animal finder.
that is the most alarming shit.
Okay.
To even view someone of that age as physically mature is concerning, or like the potential to be physically mature at 15 is very concerning.
Then you think so? Like, by your morality, all of human history, everybody was a pedophile. In the 1800s in America, the age was 10. In the UK, 200 years ago, the age was 7.
Yeah, 100%.
So everybody in human history was a pedophile up until 10
Incorrect. You're wrong.
years ago.
10 years ago is pretty arbitrary.
When it's 50 years ago, whenever the feminist movement started. So, and for thousands of years,
past this.
For thousands of years, everybody was a pedophile up until 50 years ago when the age of consent was divided.
Yes, and also people used to eat people more often, like cannibals. You're going to go on like cannibals? Like, it's not like things were great back then. It's not like we had it all figured out back then. Yeah, there was a lot of bad shit.
But in successful societies, like the UK was a Christian country in the 1800s, the United States was a Christian country in the 1800s, and all societies in Greece and the Roman Empire, successful societies that colonized, that thrived, that had lots of families, that invented things, all those people were pedophiles?
Really, yeah, if they're having sex with 7 and 10-year-olds, 100%, yes.
Okay, but not even if they were enacting about it, they believed in it, because it's the belief too.
Yes.
So everybody in human history was a pedophile until 50 years ago.
If they subscribe to the belief that it was okay to do that, yes, people evolved to recognize how bad that is. Yes, like if we look back on it retroactively, that is a horrible thing.
So everybody
look back on like
everybody in the UK,
bad thing, and incest is a bad thing. Like we look back on these things, like, yeah, that was bad. Like we know that's bad now.
Yeah, the next step. I want to point this out, and for you to remember this, because the next step for this thing where they cut off penises and take puberty blockers, the next step is normalizing incest. The next step is normalizing bestiality. People like Chris are already dressing up like wolves, already dressing up like dogs. They're walking around in public. They go to gay pride parades with these cat ears. They meow, they bark, they do these things. They believe they're dogs. A lot of these people, they accept them. They call them she wolf, she this, all this stuff. They identify as a wolf because you can believe and identify that I'm a woman now. If I believe it, why can I not be a wolf? That's the next step is bestiality. Then the next step is incest. These things should not be allowed. We should hold down something. There should be something that's consistent. The only thing that's consistent throughout history that makes sense is God. It has to go back to something consistent, something real, or else it's ever adapting, never changing. Because 200 years ago, I really want you to remember this. In the 1800s in the UK, the judge that laid down the law in the UK said that the ideal said that the marriage for a woman is the age of 7. That's what they said. And everybody abided by that. Everybody believed in it. The society thrived. Everybody was okay. Nobody admonished that. That wasn't a problem. And then up until now, you're saying all these people were pedophiles. These people that should be in jail. They're disgusting. They're horrible people. They should be admonished. If they were all in jail, there would be nothing going on. This is why you can't follow the ever adapting morality. It can't change every 10 years. Or one decade, you can cut your dick off. The next decade, you can't. You can't adapt this all the time. There needs to be something consistent. It all has to go back to God. If it doesn't, then you're gonna let the government control that. And the government right now, they're controlled by Zionists. I don't know if you've seen Netanyahu right now. Netanyahu just walked into Congress and he told them all, oh, 2911s, we need more money. We need more money to continue bombing Palestine over and over again. Everybody got up and clapped. Everybody in the government, all the people that control the age of consent, that say that 16 is okay, that say that Romeo and Juliet, that 18 is okay. They also think that bombing innocent civilians in Gaza is okay. You cannot follow the government.
I mean, you're just wrong. You're just absolutely wrong. This is just fucking Yapsville.
For a consistent set of morality. They are only followed by greed. All they believe in is money. All they believe in is personal gain. These are corrupt people who don't have the best interest because all humans are flawed. I'm flawed. You're flawed. We've seen our flaws. We all know them. The only thing that's not flawed is God. God is the perfect being, the perfect supreme being that we have to follow. Nothing else can give us morality.
There was a lot in there, and again, we can follow God, but there needs to be an agreed upon consistency, which you don't provide, which was the whole
subject. The
subject.
agreed upon consistency is physical maturity.
That's not a number though. Like you can't actually calculate physical.
I don't think I'm gonna get through to that. But what you don't understand is that something that's consistent is how do you physical maturity is consistent. That's something that's consistent.
What does it look like? What does it look like?
Post puberty. That's it.
What does that look like?
That's
what does that look like?
What does an adult look like? Looks like me. Looks like you. We went through puberty. I know you're an adult because you went through puberty. I know I'm an adult because I went through puberty. I see a child. I know that's a child. That's a child who's not went through puberty yet. That's a kid. Very aware. It's very simple.
You said like a 12-year-old could be physically mature. Like
they're mostly not. They're mostly not. And even a child that's now become an adult at 12, 13, something like that, would I think that they're mentally ready? Probably. I personally, most of the time, I would not think so. Would their parents?
I'm still fucking silent. What I was saying is he would if they were still mentally mature enough, but what he's trying to say is that he wouldn't if they were like the whole stance on that just seems weird because he's like saying like, oh, I wouldn't personally do it because I don't think they'd be mentally mature enough, but they're physically mature enough. So if they were mentally mature, because like you were saying, people mature at different ages. So if they were mentally mature enough, then you would marry them. And you would marry a 9-year-old. And Sneako, that's what you're saying. Based on your worldview, you would. If they were physically and mentally appealing to you, you would. You don't have any moral stance based on just age and knowing that people develop at different that regardless of people developing at different stages, we all should have standards that help us align a more appropriate progress for individuals in their development. Or you can be Sneako and just wanna fuck a little 9-year-old, but only after you marry them. So
parents think that child's mentally ready. Most of the time, I wouldn't think so. I don't think the parents would want that for a kid. So I think they would want it to develop more. Because you should follow the morality of the parents. The parents are going to care for that kid way more than the government. Why are you going to let the government be in charge of your kids? The government saying it's okay to cut the kid's dicks off. The parents say no, because it's going to harm it. You're not going to do it. Clearly, it's going to be harmed. The parents are the one that are going to care about the kid way more than anybody in charge. All these Zionists like in front of Congress.
But that's neither here nor there again.
Who should take care of a child? The parents or the government?
Absolutely. I am a big proponent of the government should not have a say in how people live their lives. Like, I don't think they should be intruding into people's personal freedoms to make the decisions.
But then you should let go of the age of consent.
No, because that one is more than the government. That is a societal agreed upon standard.
It's not societal agreed upon. We established
For the majority of sensible people, it is.
For sensible people, not in any states, not the majority of the United States, not the majority of Europe, not the majority of the world. You're making that up. The sensible people that you're talking about that are afraid to talk about
sex. Are you going to go fuck a 16-year-old?
You said this again, but
no,
you're not
the question is, the answer is no. You know that because it's not good to do that. But you would for an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old. Like you've made that clear. Like you also recognize that it's more than a government thing. You also abide by it because it is. If you don't, but what you're not saying is that if you don't think that the government should intrude, that the parents should be the ones leading the child, that we should have like God-fearing people. It sounds like you agree with that. If we should have married couples, if we want to have more children to procreate and develop a better society and have healthy children who are not harmed, then the government should not be involved. They should not say that these two people cannot get married because of the age of 18. Because that's what we have situations like we did hundreds of years ago with 7 and 10-year-olds getting married. And do you think that's a problem?
Back then, that wasn't even a major problem. There were more.
Do you think it's a problem?
There were much more. During that time, it was not a problem.
Do you think it's a problem now?
Okay. I finished cutting my dick off. We're all good now. Sneako can go to bed safe, knowing that an adult's doing it and not a child. And then some children can get married to him later. It's okay. Oop.
If we go back to that.
Now it's you know how much longer it takes for people to go through puberty and physically mature now because of what the fluoride they put in the water, because the media that we consume, because of the TikTok brain people are maturing a lot later than they used to. Back then, adult people used to die at 33. People used to die in their early 30s in biblical times. And then times like on. Life was over quickly. Now
that's also not true. I'm pretty sure they said that Jesus lived to like it was like 35 or something, but it wasn't like till just 30. And I mean, he was also killed, so
it's delayed. People live longer. We have more medicine. We have longer. People live longer, and they mature much later because they're putting voice all the time. People are staying inside chronically. People, they don't have the same maturity level. So at that time, it was normal. Who am I to say that everybody then were terrible people? That makes no sense. They were living fine. They continued society. They colonized. They created things. They invented things. They were thriving at that time. For me to say like all these people are terrible, cancel the past.
You don't have
cancel
to
the Roman Empire.
You can say that it was a terrible thing. You can say it's a bad thing, which you just did. It is a bad thing. We recognize that.
Based off of
yeah, you can. You can look at the Roman Empire and be like, the fact that they wanted to have sex with their little like fucking little shower boys, like, yeah, that's wrong. That's
standards created by the government.
That's okay to say, Sneako. It's okay to
based
say
off what we
wrong.
know and how much we know now. It is a bad thing for a child to be with an adult.
I agree.
Right. Again, you get it.
You know what's funny? This all brings you back to our cuties debate from last year.
Is this still your favorite movie?
No, it's not my favorite movie. That was clickbait. But the reason that we debated about it is because you didn't finish the movie, right? The girls started off in your world, in the world where people can cut their penises off, where girls are on TikTok at a young age, where they're doing disgusting things, where liberalism flourishes. At the end of the movie, the girls return to Islam. They find God. That same girl who's doing degenerate acts, who probably believed in transgenderism, this disgusting thing. She put on a job. She put her head to the floor. She prayed, and then we saw actual resolution. We saw the only way that she was going to find peace and prosperity. The only way she was going to be in a world that makes sense.
That's honestly hilarious. That's hilarious that the movie ends like that because they literally had real little girls twerking in the movie. So to try and push that as the message is fucking hilarious. And yeah, I'm gonna stand by that. You could be like, oh, no one watched the movie. People were just wanted to be disgusted by it, but it happens every day. Like, yeah, bro, you shouldn't use real kids when depicting this. Because then, yeah, it'll get the message pushed across a little bit better rather than seeing actual kids twerk, because nobody wants to see that. Except for you, for like 2 hours or however long the movie was.
Is under a God-fearing world. And then she changed. That's why I like the movie.
You never understood the problem. It was never the message of the movie.
No, I understand your problem.
Actual children.
I understand your problem. I understand the problem. I agree with him. I agree with you then. I agree with you now. But that's what I see as the only solution to this degeneracy in the West. Because everybody that's going to watch the debate, they're going to agree with the part that you think a child can cut his dick off is absolutely disgusting. You're going to see the response to that. And then you might change your opinion on it as well. You can't have this ever developing morality because then
I think you're going to see the same thing when you made an argument that in a extenuating circumstance, a 12-year-old can be physically mature and marry an adult. Like, I think you're going to see a response to that that's not the one you're expecting, because that's not an okay thing. There's never going to be a physically mature 12-year-old, a physically mature...
But there were, for all of human history, there were. And not even that long ago.
They weren't.
I read to you UK law. The UK juror, William Blackwell, said a woman can get married at the age of 7, sign into law.
We can't be using these old laws, because there's also old laws where you're going to beat the shit out of your wife and face no repercussion because she's your property. Do you agree with that?
What law was that?
I'm giving an example. Like there were, like you could do that. Your wife was your property.
Exactly.
Slavery had
We're agreeing that
laws.
laws
I don't think
laws.
Let's see. Many countries in the Middle East and North Africa are imposing state-sanctioned domestic abuse of women by stopping them from traveling freely, researchers warned. And this was in 2023.
Laws can be wrong. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, laws can be wrong. 100%. That's why you need to follow God's law. That's the only consistent law. And that's what I follow, and that's what the people that follow this, that's what most people follow. That's what people should, not most people in the West anymore. That's what most sensible people that believe in two genders, you can't, this is what people believe, they follow God's law. And they would agree, it should not be the age of consent. It should be the age of marriage. People should not be having frivolous sex. They should not be sleeping around doing degenerate things. They should not be messaging boys when they're married. They shouldn't do any of this stuff. They should get married, have kids, and make a better society.
So then, okay, just to put a bow on the whole thing, age of marriage. How do you determine that? So someone in your position, age of marriage is now the law. Who does he start talking to? The parents of what age? What's like, when is it physically mature?
Physically mature, again, it depends on the person.
That's just, you see why that's such a, I don't know why I don't see why that's such an issue. Like predators, like Chris Hansen sat down and said the same thing. Right, this 13-year-old is physically mature.
But you see, this issue, in my worldview, this is eradicated. Because pedophiles, predators, they only exist in a society that allows the age of consent, that encourages people to have sex out of wedlock. In a society, in a world, where you're only supposed to pursue people in search of marriage, that's eradicated. Because these people, these predators, you're saying this, yes it is. A predatory thing is you're using a girl and you're throwing her away. You're taking advantage of her. You're manipulating her. You're selling her
to marrying a child. It's the same thing. That's still predatory.
But it's not predatory. It's not predatory. If the parents agree to it, they agree to it, and they say yes, it's okay. Now you're gonna take care. You're gonna have a happy marriage. That's actually not predatory at all. Pedophiles and predators only exist when you encourage sex out of wedlock. It's not a problem when you encourage marriage.
Parents are apparently omniscient. They know the intentions before handing off their child. And also, this doesn't make any sense either. Encouraging sex out of wedlock, who gives a shit about that when you're talking about marrying a 10-year-old? If a 10-year-old is going to get married, then you need to consummate that marriage, right? Isn't there a thing called consummating a marriage? So, and I know Aisha, he married her when she was 7 and waited till she was 9 or some shit like that. I don't fucking remember what the story is, but like, bro, Muhammad literally is fucked. Muhammad fucked a little kid, and that's fucking disgusting, when he was like a 70-year-old man and then he fucking died. Disgusting.
Wow, how is it not a problem for someone that's in their 20s to be marrying a 14-year-old if everyone consents? How is that not a problem?
What parent is going to let their child be handed off to a predator?
There's plenty of bad parents. You think every parent's great? Especially if an adult comes from like a wealthy background, has a good job. That happens a lot.
Of course, there's outliers. But who's going to care more? And you agreed this earlier. Who's going to care more about the child, the parents or the government?
The parents.
100%.
I agree.
So I'm going to trust the parents over the government any day. If the parents agree that this adult is ready, if they say that this marriage is going to be good, and I agree upon this, and I think it's healthy, I think they're ready, 100%, I will take their consent over the government's consent any day.
I don't think I'll ever be able to agree with that if there's no line in the sand.
Right, because you think that kids can cut their dicks off.
What? Sorry.
Right, because you think kids can cut their dicks off. Like, we have fundamentally different worldview. Did you believe in that?
Yeah, I actually grew up very religious. I was baptized twice. I come from a very religious background. I'm not so much anymore, but I do come from a background in it.
Why not anymore? If you're seeing disgusting things, I mean, if you're not a Catholic anymore, then why do you think a man can become a woman? That's nothing biblical.
I was Baptist, not a Catholic, but it's because I believe that a lot of the old world
I was Baptist, not a Catholic. Got his ass. He doesn't know anything about religion.
Is outdated and ever changing, and I believe that all spirituality preaches love and tolerance.
I was baptized once, Catholic. I know, the Romans. They be doing crazy shit. That's why I don't believe in it anymore. I have my own system of beliefs. Hit me up to join the cult down below.
Your big thing is love speech, but most of what you spew is hatred towards other people. That's not true. Like, even half of your spiels here are targeted to people that you have fundamental disagreements with. It's not
disagreement is not hate.
But it's coming from a place of hate. You're not just disagreeing. You're calling them like monsters, basically. Like
people that encourage children to cut their penises off and take hormone blockers, those are bad people. Those are bad people. I hate them. No. I spread love. I want them to come to God. I want them to find something that makes sense. I do not want them to put out people. I don't hate anybody.
God.
That's not how it comes across them. Then perhaps a reformatting of your love speech. But for me, I never have a problem with how people want to live their lives. Like, you have entire autonomy over your body. That doesn't bother me. And my religious background, I was always taught about how it's always better to accept as opposed to reject. Like, there's never any reason to hold on to some hatred for people, especially when
that's where liberals get confused. It's not hatred, like not accepting things that are bad. That's not hatred. That's drawing a line. Just like how you don't accept saying below 18. That's not acceptance. By your logic, you're saying that's hatred. People. That's hateful, right? Like, if you believe,
that's a super fair point.
If you believe.
I mean, I would say I'm hateful towards people that want to marry people under the age of 18. That doesn't go against my belief system at all.
Even something consistent, then drawing a line and saying this is not allowed, like incest or bestiality, these things which you agree are wrong. I don't hate people who are committing incest. I don't hate people who believe they're dogs. I feel bad for them. I don't want to encourage it.
And yeah, I don't hate them. I hate the actions, and I hate the belief, and I hate the arguments, and I hate the abuse.
I want to stop that. Really? It sounds angry because I talk about these things, but I look at this person, I look at that, I see someone lost, or I see somebody confused, I see somebody that's brainwashed by the Zionist propaganda.
I can say that about you as well, though. I see someone that's lost about this age of consent, like what is and is not okay to marry. Like, it's very easy to turn around and say the same about you, because in my eyes, you do seem lost. You've gone through this radical shift in your perspectives in a very short period of time, and to me, it seems like it's because of who you've surrounded yourself with and what you've taken in. Like, it doesn't seem
Just like you. The same reason you believe.
I'm not saying that it's like unnatural or weird or anything. Like, that's not the point I was getting at. I'm just saying how easy it is to easily turn that around on you as well. When you're arguing for things like there can be a physically mature 14-year-old or whatever that can marry an adult. Like, those kind of things to me seem like someone who's lost. I don't think you're someone that's going to go out there and fuck someone that's 16, 15 years old.
No,
I don't think
you might establish the age of marriage.
Yeah, but you would defend someone who did.
No, it wouldn't. That's wrong.
If it was the right circumstances, if it was a physically mature 15-year-old, or if you believe it was a
If their parents said it's okay, if their parents said it's okay, I'm not going to get into it.
I think that's very lost. I think that's super
You
lost.
think it's lost because you can't define simple terms. I want to go back so you remember this. What is a child?
Textbook definition: someone who hasn't gone through puberty.
Right. You have your own definition of this word, and that's where
Society does.
Let's look this up. Yeah. Or below the legal age of majority. Can we use that one? Can we use that one as the... Okay. A child human being between the stages of birth and puberty, or the development period of infancy and puberty. It may also refer to an unborn human being. Let's see, adult definition. Oh, a son or daughter of any age. An immature or irresponsible person. What about that one? There's another definition for you. Using these fucking semantical arguments are so stupid. A person who is fully grown or developed. In a way categorized as behave in a way characteristic of a responsible adult, especially by accomplishing mundane but necessary tasks. I've adulted with moderate success this week by compiling invoices and billing my client. An individual who has reached the age of majority, which a person is defined by law. So, I mean, if you want to get definition based, it's also, it's a legal thing. So if we want to talk about adults are the people who have reached the age of majority.
Society does. Under 18. That's minor.
That's not the definition of the word. That's the legal defined thing of adult. It's not even. I don't even know where they legally define that as an adult. They just say that it doesn't even say you're an adult. They say you can vote at that age, and they say you can. You're saying that's age of consent, even though it's 16 most places. You can vote at 18, but other than that, there's no law that says you're an adult at 18. You've made that up.
It's what everyone in most places has agreed upon.
And that's what we've established many times. Throughout the United States, it's not true. Throughout Europe, that's not true.
Again, those are two circumstances that exist for the Romeo and Juliet law.
What you're saying is objectively wrong. In most places, that's not true. Like, if you look at the map, that is not true.
Japan having a 13-year-old age of consent until they change it. There's plenty of places that don't. I get that. But if someone goes to Japan and fucks a 13-year-old, you're not going to be happy with them, are you?
No, because that's
exactly.
You're not supposed to do that.
But
You're missing the point. I don't think that you follow the moral ideas of laws. I've established that as well. You're saying most people agree that it's 18. That is factually wrong.
Most people agree. You are agreeing. You would not be happy if someone went and married a 13-year-old or fucked a 13-year-old in Japan, even if it's legal. You wouldn't be happy. But I don't think you would have any issue if that person was 18. There is just something that people have accepted, and that's 18.
You're not realizing, like, you have to concede to this point. You're saying most people agree it's 18 throughout human history. Throughout human history and throughout the world that we are currently in, that is factually wrong.
Right, and I do understand that.
Okay, so you cannot. So why do you believe that's 18? Because you're saying it's most people, and I just told you that's wrong. So why is it 18?
Because it is what we have all, for the most part, agreed upon.
No, well, stop saying something's wrong. That's not true. That's not true.
It is. Again,
if you can show me something, if you can show me something,
if you came out and said fucking 18-year-old, your community wouldn't care. There is a difference.
Internet cancel culture is not how you judge right from wrong. Okay, if you have to show me a statistic where it says 18, most people agree with, because across the world throughout human history, that's not true. The reason you believe that is because in California, you know that in Hollywood, that's where California, one of the rare places they say 18. You know that, right? So in movies they say it's 18. Age of 18. That gets pushed everywhere, right? Hollywood dominates the world. Do you know who controls Hollywood?
Oh, here we go. I already knew where this was going, but you're not.
No, it's a question. But this is why you believe that it's most people. Who controls Hollywood?
No, that's not why. It's because people have accepted that.
People,
everyone, sensible society for the most part, have accepted that this is.
When people start talking about shit like this, it makes me blink like a fucking frog. It makes me like blink one eye at a time. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Who runs Hollywood? Who runs the banks? Bro, who runs your fucking mouth on and on and on?
This is the line. This is the number.
Where?
And there needs to be one.
Where are these people?
In your chat right now.
My chat is the majority. My chat's the majority of the world.
I'm just giving an example. You can see it.
Okay.
You can see it.
On the internet.
There's statutory
internet?
associated. You go to jail
Fair.
for having sex with under 18 as an like an adult.
On the internet.
No, and in society.
Where in society?
Statutory rape.
Where in society?
Literally everywhere. Statutory rape. An adult having sex with a child.
Nope. Not true. 16 most places. The reason that people
You
push
can
this
still go to
narrative
jail if you have sex with a 16-year-old as an adult, even in places where the age
as an adult, you said the age of 18 is an adult. 19 has sex with a 16-year-old, that's fine. Well, their definition just changed right there. Now an adult is past 25, you just change it, okay? So most places, that's not true, okay? 18 is not the agreed upon age, anywhere. The reason is because of Hollywood. Hollywood movies say that.
Holy shit.
Do you know who controls Hollywood, MoistCr1tikal?
Oh my god, it has nothing to do with Hollywood, brother.
It is. That's the reason Western Americans, liberalized Americans believe that is because of Hollywood. Because no, like if you said that across the world in Europe, you'd be like 18. That's not true. I'm in Europe right now. They don't think that across from like liberal Westerners like you. You're the only people that push that. And you gotta get out of the internet bubble because that's
It's
not
just not true. It's not true.
I mean, that's just, yeah, it's not true. There's a ton of people in Europe that are totally against fucking people trying to have sex with people under the age of 18, trying to marry people under the age of 18. I do not think it's as common as he's trying to make it out to be at all.
You see this in other parts of the world too. Like in Europe, if you have an adult that is having sex with a 16-year-old, it is frowned upon as well. It is still a problem. It is still an issue. Like it is still everywhere. Like it doesn't matter really where. Like there are parts of the world where I'm sure it's not, but it's not parts where people are celebrating.
Again, what you're saying is wrong because you changed your definition of adult again. You said adult was somebody physically mature, now it's not. Right? And if it follows the age of consent in Europe at 16, then why would it be wrong? Based on your thing. Okay.
It is still.
I think people, it's almost impossible to get through what you're saying in looping. Can you tell? Do you know who controls Hollywood? Who pushes this narrative?
I know where you're going with it. You're going to say it's all controlled by the Zionists, right?
Do you think that's wrong?
I do think it's wrong. Yeah.
Why is that wrong?
Because I don't think there's a secret Zionist agenda that controls the entire world.
It's actually not secret at all. They boast about it.
And you're the one that can see between the lines. You're onto them.
No, I'm not. This is something that they openly talk about. You know, AIPAC, the biggest lobby in America, 98% of their endorsed politicians win elections. They put that on their website. They talk about it all the time. Zionists, they openly talk about how they control. It's not a secret. Why do you think that they do that? Okay, so let's follow my line of questioning. Why do you think the Zionists that boast about that control Hollywood as well? If you look at the list of the people who directors produce all these people, it all goes back to the same place. That's why Harvey Weinstein got access for having sexual blackmail things. That's why the Epstein Island thing, they had connections to all these Hollywood directors and all these people. They blackmail these people sexually to push it. So why is that?
Well, just general corruption. Corruption exists in all of its forms, man.
True.
There's not some
True,
kind
but
of
it's predominantly
just corruption. It's literally corruption, which is prevalent everywhere. And you should know, like corruption.
Why? Okay, so Zionists do predominantly control Hollywood. That's just a fact. That's just something that there's no point in arguing. That's something that's true. You can look at all the Hollywood directors. Why do you think they would want to push that in America? They're all the way like the Zionists started in Israel. Why would Israel care about America's age of consent?
I have no idea. Couldn't tell you.
There's no reason why. Like why specifically? Because it works so well that you believe in it, and you're saying that most people believe in it, even though it's not true. So why would they push this so hard that Americans believe something that's not true?
Enlighten me. Why?
Because they want to push sexual deviancy on people to control us. Because they use America.
Stop right there. And it's not sexually deviant for a child to have sex or marry an adult.
It's also just so weird for him to use the term Zionist when he's just talking about fucking Jews. Like he's talking about Jews. Like he's saying Jewish people fucking run the world. Don't say Zionists because I'm a Zionist. I could be a Zionist, right? I could be an individual who believes in the state of Israel. I could believe in an Israeli state, right? And that makes me run Hollywood? No, he's talking about fucking Jews. That's what he's saying. He's saying he hates Jewish people. He thinks they're all dirty rats. And that the man with the little mustache was right. And that's what he's trying to say.
Do you think it's sexually deviant? Do you think it's sexually deviant for people to have sex out of wedlock?
No, again, that's a completely nope.
You don't think that?
No.
Okay, but you said you're Catholic earlier.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, based off the Catholic belief and most religious beliefs, sex out of marriage, that's wrong.
Sneako just doesn't listen to a fucking word of anything that's being said. He fucking just talks out his ass and then fucking eats it all back up thinking that it's what everyone else is saying. You said you were Catholic earlier. No, I didn't. He said he was Baptist and wasn't Catholic. You were the one who assumed that he was Catholic because he said he got baptized.
You're not supposed to do that. It's not encouraged.
Okay, it is a sin. It is a sin.
And not even if it's a sin. Let me just ask you, do you think that people should have sex out of a long-term relationship like marriage? Should people have frivolous sex?
If they want to, they can. Yeah, I think they should have the ability to do that if they want to.
I think that frivolous sex isn't necessary for a happy life, and it probably would aid in an unhappy life in certain circumstances, but I don't think there's anything wrong with people having casual sex. I would probably encourage people to try and not have casual sex as often, but I don't think that it's necessarily a bad or wrong thing to do.
They should have the ability saying you can't do that. No, not the government. A moral reason. Do you think morally, the people that watch you, for example, do you think that they should be having a lot of sex with a lot of random people?
That's entirely up to them. I'm not in a position to say what they should or should not do.
What would you advise them?
I wouldn't push that morality onto them.
Well, you're pushing the morality at 18 on them?
Yeah, that's significantly different.
No, it's not.
It really is.
No, it's not. You're saying that this is morally okay age to have sex. Okay, so what about these other...
Here, I'll push my morals. I think that it's probably better to wait to have sex with a partner that you want to be in a long-term relationship with. And even if that relationship doesn't necessarily last, it's still good to kind of want to establish some kind of ground before moving on physically with someone. Just seems more. Just seems to make sense if you genuinely are, because like obviously, you can have hookups, you can hook up with people, but you should understand the circumstances and consequences that can come along with that. You don't want to be put in a situation that isn't going to make you very happy, and sex is both a situation that can cause birth, but it can also cause a lot of physical and mental connection that a lot of people aren't necessarily ready for. So
Would you encourage them now that they're 18 and they can fuck around? Would you encourage them to go fuck around?
I wouldn't encourage them. They can do what they want. I'm not gonna say go out there and fuck. I don't care.
You don't care?
That's up to them. That's up to them. If they are of the legal age and they want to go do that, I'm not their fucking.
What do you think makes for a better society?
And the reason I think that a 14-year-old shouldn't get married is precisely for that reason of I think that you should probably date around. You shouldn't be just fucking and having sex with people and getting married with the first person you're dating because you're like, oh my god, I love them so much. Oh my, like imagine a 14-year-old, bro. I remember being 14. That first person you start dating, you're like, oh my god, we're gonna be together forever, or we should get married now. And then you get married, and then you're fucking stuck with them, and then you have as much sex as you want. Oh my god, it's in the glory of God, but only if you're doing it. Because that's the thing too. He wants to talk about sex before marriage being wrong, but technically, it should be sex is only in the Maybe Sneako's really pissed off because he actually does believe that sex is only for the purpose of procreation. He hasn't had sex for fucking years at this point because he just ever since he got cucked that time, he just hasn't even fucking used his hand since. So that's why he's so mad at everybody.
You need to tell them what to do. What society do you think is healthier? One that people are having a lot of sex with random people and cutting their penises off, or a society where you're getting married and saying what?
You are. That's a very generous framing because your society of marriage is one that has children.
Don't go back. Okay. Do you think it's better to live in a society where people are having a lot of frivolous sex, or abstaining and getting married?
Now, are we talking like marriage of the right age, over 18?
Over your idea of right age, sure, yes. What do you think is better?
Okay, in that society, if people are settling down and getting married, having long-term relationships, meaningful relationships, and they're all of the correct age, they're adults, then yeah, that's definitely better.
That's exactly.
People probably agree with that.
And that's exactly why the Zionists who control the media. That's why they push this so much. You know who owns Pornhub, for example?
MindGeek.
MindGeek. You know who controls MindGeek?
Couldn't tell you.
A rabbi.
Is that right? I mean, I didn't know.
Okay, do you know who controls the music industry? The people like, Ice Spice says, Papa Perk twerk, Papa Perk twerk. You know who controls the music industry?
Who?
All Zionists. And they use black culture to promote degeneracy, and that's how you get these wiggers that run around saying nigga all the time and doing this stuff. That's how you get this culture, because they listen to rap music so much, they get brainwashed, they start shooting Papa Perks, they want to be cool. The idea of cool now for white people is acting like a thug black person that they hear in the music. The reason that they do this is to keep us controlled, to keep us weak. Because when you're using your life force all the time, would you agree that watching porn, jerking off, would you agree that it lowers your energy?
Well, that's a very real thing, yeah. Porn addiction, all that, that's a bad thing for sure. But you're taking things. Like, you're taking, like...
Who cares, bro? There's a lot of things that lower your energy. There's a lot of things that fucking affect you negatively. But trying to fucking say that all of it's because of the Zionists is fucking all because of the Jews is you're just a fucking little degenerate piece of shit, bro. Like actually just a fucking cuck prick. And all you do is just come around trying to fucking spout off at the ass, fucking thinking that you're smart. Like, bro, you fucking sound like a dumbass. And I know this whole time I've just been yapping. I've probably been stuttering and stammering and not finishing my points. But hey, man, at least I'm a little faded. What's your excuse?
Actual things like porn addiction, and you're tying it into a completely conspiratorial thing.
It's not conspiratorial. I just said was true. A rabbi owns Pornhub.
But that's probably true. Like, I imagine you're right. I'm sure you've done your research on it. But that's also so inconsequential because I don't think it ties into this bigger narrative of the Zionists trying to keep Sneakos weak or anything like that. That is corruption. It's called corruption. Like,
my point is, the reason that you hold on to this belief so dearly that 18 is the age of consent is because they want us to believe this so much. They want us to have this idea of age of consent, and now we don't even believe in marriage anymore. Now we believe in this idea of frivolous sex. Now we believe that, okay, I'm 18, I can consent now, I can have sex. When that shouldn't even be a term. The term should be age of marriage. Yes, it does. Age of consent, just that word implies sex out of wedlock.
Okay, but first, there's a couple things here. First of all, the age of consent, if it wasn't there, it's not going to lead to more marriages magically. There's a lot of societal things, such as job, economy, housing market. You know those things. The age of consent doesn't magically fix that.
No, it doesn't magically fix that. But I'm telling you, that's why you hold on to that so dearly. Because they want us to believe age of consent. Well, no, because a girl's 18, she's not even really ready to make that decision. Girls who are 18 and vote, they all vote for Joe Biden because they believe Trump's racist. And then they all regret it 4 years later because they get brainwashed and manipulated quickly. And even an 18-year-old woman, she's not even capable, in my opinion, and the Islamic, of being able to consent like that, jump into that, because it should be the father. The father's getting smarter.
I just love that he says this, like most of the world isn't fucking, like, the world is very much 50-50. We are very split down the fucking middle in like terms of our belief systems. So it's like no, that's like the thing is like it's very much like 1-to-1. We're not like there isn't like a bunch of these small groups that want to fucking take over and da. It's people genuinely hold these beliefs, and you just acting like everybody actually is lying to themselves. Nobody wants to do that. They're all just being manipulated by movies and TV.
The right man. Women are emotional thinkers. They're gonna see the bad boy with the motorcycle jacket, the guy beating up people, the drug dealer, the big tough alpha guy who's just gonna fuck them, dump them. They're attracted to them. If we follow the age of consent, they're gonna get sent to the fuck boy who's fucking all the girls and never wants to marry them. We should not have
no like authority of their own. You're making it sound like, okay, no age of consent, now it's up to the dad, and the 14-year-old wants that bad boy on the motorcycle, and maybe the dad thinks that guy's fucking awesome, so he says yes. That still happens in your society.
The dad is not gonna think that because the dad who...
You don't know that. You do not know that. But what you can know is that under no circumstances...
Well, you know why that's not gonna happen? Because Islamically, you're not supposed to allow harm in another person. So a father would not allow his daughter to get harmed. You're gonna go and evaluate the person.
Everyone's perfect, you agree.
Of course not everybody's perfect, and neither is the law. But this is a better metric of society based off the government that changes and allows all the time.
There's no consistency to it. What you think is, you agree, is a very important thing. Because it's always going to be variable. Like, that 14-year-old in that society might want to be with the bad boy piper. He could come from money. The parents say yes. His parents say yes. That's okay in your world. In the current one, the age of consent, that's impossible. So now maybe that 14-year-old grows up, she's 20, she sees that same piper, she's like, oh, that guy's a fucking loser. That guy's just a douchebag. That could happen. All of these things.
No father, like, in the majority, I know I'm generalizing this. No father's going to see this guy. Like, if he's a drug dealer, he's a bad person. He's going to evaluate that and allow his daughter to get married. That's just
don't know that.
Of course, there's extreme outliers, but like that's even silly to think about. No actual father. Do you even know a father who would allow his daughter to get married to somebody like this? You would evaluate them in a God-fearing society. We allow marriage. Allow his daughter to be harmed.
I don't know a father that would be okay with their child being with an adult. First off, like, there's no one I know that would be okay with that because even just right there it should be a full stop. Not even
you keep saying child.
Analyzing their child.
Okay, child is what?
Oh my god.
Child is what?
Under 18.
Okay, so you're not following the definition. It's okay. I can have this conversation if you don't follow the definition of words.
Again, I don't think a 14-year-old can ever be physically mature.
Even though they literally can. Even though puberty actually defines that, it's fine.
I don't.
It's just such a stupid thing to say too, because it's like, fucking no, a 14-year-old literally couldn't be physically mature. They can be starting their physical maturing, but no 14-year-old has reached the fucking peak of their physical maturity at 14 years old. You're a fucking moron. Like, that's just, if there is, it's like the fucking one in a billion, bro. It's one in a fucking billion. Like, you're a fucking dumbass to say that.
I believe so.
So okay, so you have okay, fine. Then you don't think your beliefs come from the Zionists that control the media, the government, and they control America. Where do you get your beliefs from?
We're just going in circles, man. We've gone over this so much.
Where?
Again, from my own experiences, from everything I see and formulating my own thoughts on it. I was 14 once. I actually had a mustache when I was 14. Would you have looked at me and said I was physically mature enough to get married?
If you were physically mature, yes, I would. Okay.
Really? If you're 14?
Yeah. If you were 14 and you were ready to go and you met another 14-year-old, yes, I would.
No. We're talking adults. You keep going back to
that. Is adult.
I meant
I told you my definition.
So
I told you the
definition.
definition. The definition. If you went to puberty, you're an adult. That's the definition of adult. So yes, if you're an adult, you got a mustache, ready to get married, fine. Okay.
You
get your beliefs.
14-year-old adult. 14-year-old adult. What is the benefit to society? How does that help your society? Two 14-year-olds just got married in your society. How does that help?
They stay away from the Zionist degeneracy. They stop watching porn. They stop having sex out of wedlock. They stop, going to parties they shouldn't go to. They're maybe not drinking. They're in a healthy relationship. They're staying away from all this stuff.
How does that happen when you have two 14-year-olds being together now, making the decisions of two 14-year-olds? Because once you become married, I imagine that union is stronger than your, family ties or
building with each other, having a marriage, they're praying together, they're focusing on building a family together in the future. This is much better for society. So I want to ask you, you said you get your morals from your personal experiences and the people around you.
Everybody does. That's how everyone formulates.
So your morality is based off the people around you?
You take in all the information around you. Everyone does. You do. You've taken in so many beliefs and people you've talked to. It changes your perspective on things. That's how it works.
Changing your perspective is different than morality. Morality is right from wrong and good from bad. Do you change what you believe is good and bad based off the people you're around?
I guess it depends on the situation, because there are going to be things that are bad in some situations that are not bad in others. Like self-defense. If there's someone, I would say killing someone is abhorrent. One of the worst things you can do. But there's a situation where it makes sense. You maybe saved yourself, saved somebody else. So yeah, morality changes based on what's going on around you and what you've taken in.
Mm-hmm. So, this is where it's consistent, because self-defense, that doesn't count as murder. Like, yes, it's killing somebody, but it's not the act of murder.
But killing, to me, is morally bad. But there are times where it's not in self-defense.
Of course, that makes sense. But yeah, so where else in a scenario where good? Because that's not based off.
I mean, what? That's kind of a stupid, again, semantic fucking argument. So killing isn't wrong. Only murder is wrong. Because killing can be done under justifiable means. And I'm pretty sure in the Bible and all that shit it says thou shalt not kill. Not thou shalt not murder. So using that fucking semantical argument's stupid. No, even in self-defense, killing someone would be wrong. It would be considered a sin.
Of your personal experiences, that's just something that makes sense, and that's also
even though fucking David hit fucking Goliath with that fucking sling, knocked his ass down, and fucking they came with swords and shit.
Based off the things around me, which you seem to have an issue with.
It's not based off what's around you. That's been consistent throughout history, and even in the Quran it says that, like you're allowed to defend yourself. Like you're supposed to defend yourself. That's not cold-blooded murder. Is there any situation where cold-blooded murder? I said you change what's good and bad. I understand that I change my perspective on things, but good and bad. Is your good and bad able to change?
Some things will never change about what I view as good and bad. But there are, again, some that will, like in the case of self-defense. Because I would say killing is always bad until it's not, like in self-defense. There are things that would never change. For example, I'll give you one that will never change. Cold-blooded murder. You kill someone in cold blood, completely innocent person, that's never going to change. Because
it harms someone. You shouldn't harm other people.
Yeah, someone has just died here, a completely innocent person is now dead.
So why can a child physically harm himself?
I knew that was coming.
So why can a child cut his penis off and harm himself?
Again, that's entirely the decision, and this falls right in line with my beliefs, that people can make their own choices for their own bodies.
If I decide to say, man, it's clips, not mags, and I decide to shoot you, that's a personal decision. It doesn't change the fact that it's
wrong. You're taking it out on me, you've killed me.
And from a personal decision.
That's looking at it from a very naive angle.
You said
you didn't make a decision for yourself. You made a decision to kill me.
It's still for myself to feel better.
I guess
that's still a personal decision. So why is it okay for him to cut his dick off?
He's making
such a fucking childish fucking viewpoint, because you're making an individual decision. It's a personal decision for me to pull out a gun and shoot you. It's a personal decision for me to. Yeah, it's a personal decision for fucking to shut your fucking mouth, Sneako. So please do it. Like, bro, it's such a childish
perspective.
And
his family, or he and she and that family is making that decision for that child's life. If that's the path they want to go down, it's like choosing a fucking sport. You can do what you want to do.
You can do what you want to do?
Yeah, that is not harming anybody.
It literally harms their body. Their body changes physically. They have the highest suicide rate of any demographic.
It's their decision to make. It is their choice. No one.
It's their choice. So why can I not make a choice to shoot you and say it's clips?
You are harming someone. That's not you.
Right. You're harming yourself by cutting off your penis. Same reason that suicide should not be allowed, because you're harming yourself. Why can I not kill myself, but I can cut my penis off as a child?
I mean, you can do that.
Right, but it's morally wrong to kill myself, right?
I mean, it's not good. It's allowed in Canada. You can get yourself fucking offed. Pretty sure.
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, it's morally wrong to kill myself. Why is it not morally wrong for a 9-year-old, if you're a doctor, to cut that 9-year-old dick off?
What you just changed?
Because it's about impact. The impact of cutting your dick off is what? What is the impact of cutting your dick off? Following the woke agenda? Becoming a pawn in the Zionist's plan? That's the outcome. What's the outcome of committing suicide? Let's even go with that one. You commit suicide, what's the outcome? You're affecting not just your own life, but the lives of your loved ones and the people that cared about you and all the things that happened around you. You're affecting all those people as well. When you kill somebody else, you're not just affecting them, you're also affecting all their family members. So even beyond you're impacting somebody else. When you are getting a transgender surgery, you are quite literally, you could be like, oh, you make your parents sad. You might make your pastor cry. But that's because they are doing stuff for selfish reasons. When they might be more impacted by that person committing suicide. Just saying. And if you would really say I'd prefer someone kill themselves over getting a transgender surgery, getting a fucking transitionary surgery, whatever the fuck, I don't even know what they're called. I haven't looked into it too much. I ain't interested, but I ain't interested in one. But if you want to do it, it's all your decision. You have my blessing. I allow it. I'll let it slide this time. But really, it's just like if it's only affecting you, and anybody that it is affecting is just being selfish.
There's two different things now. No. So are we talking from the doctor or the child?
Say I'm the doctor. I can't kill myself. Is it morally okay for me to cut off a 9-year-old's dick?
If everyone around that 9-year-old is giving you the green light that this is what they want, this is their decision, there is no one being harmed aside from the person who is making that decision, and they are wanting to do that for their life and their happiness, then that is fine.
Can I kill the 9-year-old? If everybody around, the parents decide, if everyone says, like, yeah, kill this 9-year-old, can I do it? Healthy 9-year-old, no problems, not depressed, nothing. Everyone around, they get consent from the parents, can I kill the 9-year-old?
I think it should be pretty obvious why the answer would be no there.
Why?
There's a huge difference.
Why?
Dead.
Okay, same thing. Okay, I cut the 9-year-old's dick off. I'm setting it up for death in a sense. They have the highest suicide rate out of any demographic of any people ever. They're depressed. Their body's warped. They're physically deformed. You are doing something permanent to them that is irreversible. That is harm. Harm is almost...
So gamblers. So does every... Okay.
You know what's forbidden in Islam?
Gambling.
Yeah,
I get it.
You know what's of course I have. I've drank before too, and I've had sex out of wedlock. Does that make me perfect? No. Islam is perfect, but we are not perfect. This is why we need rules. Alcohol, same thing. It harms you. That's why we ban it. Sex out of wedlock, it harms you. That's why we ban it. Cutting your dick off harms you. That's why we ban it.
Why are you not as outspoken about things like gambling? Like every...
Oh, yes, I am. Oh my, yes, I absolutely am. I absolutely do. I call them out all the time. Every single chance
I must have missed that.
I have called them. You want me to do it right now? Encouraging people to gamble makes your audience worse. You're essentially scamming them. You're funneling children to become addicted to something, to slot machines. You are getting rich off of your audience becoming poor. I talk about this all the time, and I pride myself in the fact that I rejected a $20 million gambling deal. I got a call, and they said, "Do you want to gamble for a year?" And I said, "No, I can't do this because my religion says this is wrong." You need to have something that's consistent. The same reason my religion says you cannot become a woman, you cannot cut kids' penis off. I'm going to say no to that. You need to be consistent with your idea of harm because you know this is factually true. Trans people have the highest suicide rate. They're some of the most depressed people. They're constantly in therapy. After 7 years, the dopamine wears off and they get depressed again. They want to change. The amount of people that want to detransition is huge. These people are set up for...
Can't cut your son in your religion. You can't cut your son's dick off, but you can cut your daughter's clitoris off. So, just saying.
Failure. It's essentially death. It's harming them. So why is it okay for a doctor to set somebody up like that? Why is it okay for a doctor to harm a child?
It is again. I didn't know you did that. I think that's a very admirable position to take on gambling. So I appreciate you sharing.
You're against gambling?
You do that before? Huh?
You have to about this. Like my community makes fun of me for talking about it too much. It was like a meme about how much I talk about it. That's why.
I had no idea.
Okay, you don't do it either.
What?
You don't promote gambling or anything?
No, man.
You drink?
I just started drinking again occasionally.
Occasionally, right? But you wouldn't encourage it.
No, I don't want people to go out and do bad things. I'm not perfect though, so I do drink, and I play poker with friends occasionally. But
yeah, but small amounts of money. You're not a gambling addict.
No, but the big thing that
that's really good, bro. This is why like I took this call because like I see, and this is why I don't hate. Like some people think I hate you, and I don't. Like I see like there's a good person, bro. But the trans stuff, like this is actually harming people. And this is why I was right so long ago. What's even worse than Chris like messaging 13-year-old boys and being addicted to porn and all this stuff is encouraging people to do this, to follow suit. It's wrong. It's only been right for 10 years. We can't change human history and say that this new idea.
This started off about age of consent. Now he's back on fucking trans shit, bro. Like who cares? It's like I love my mama. But every time I talk to my mama, it's about she just loves to bring it back to abortion. Anytime I talk about anything political or talk about anything, she just brings it back to abortion because abortion is the most important thing. It all starts with God and it all starts with birth. So why are you even talking about transgender people? Who cares about that when the important thing in the moment is abortions that are happening? Millions of babies dying, even though it's less than 1 million a year.
of kids taking HRT and permanent damage to the body is okay. We can't change morality like that fast. That damages society. Even Mr. Beast, like a guy that you like a lot, and I think is, even though I don't hate him, I think he's a good person. But the amount of people that are becoming trans because they see their favorite creator Chris, they see their favorite YouTuber's best friend Chris becoming trans too. I'm gonna do it. Snip. The amount of ripple effect it has in the world, it almost supersedes the positive things he's doing when he's digging up wells. And I don't want him to do this. And this is why I knew I was right when I've been calling this out nonstop for a year. What Chris is doing is objectively bad for society, and everybody needs to be condemning it. There's no excuse for this disgusting trans stuff. A man cannot become a woman. It's a very simple reality that you and I know.
No, I just disagree with that, though. I really do. I 100% disagree with that.
Why?
I've already told you why. I truly believe that people can make their own decisions. I wouldn't encourage gambling and drinking, but if someone gambles and drinks, I don't hate them for it. I don't think they're worse for society.
That's just a bad argument, too, because you shouldn't believe that people can make their own decisions. I don't think anyone should cut their dick off because of a decision, because I think that is true mental illness that goes beyond gender dysphoria. But I believe that someone could be transgender, someone that could be born in the wrong mental state. Someone could be born with an excess amount of hormones that make them their brain is wired in just the right way that makes them a fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can believe these things. Those things all make sense to me. But I don't think that it's just like, I'm just fucking getting I'm brain broken.
It's not about hate, but it's morally wrong. It's not about hate, it's morally wrong. The same reason it's morally wrong to kill yourself or kill somebody, it's morally wrong to tell someone you can become a woman, because that's wrong. It has no factual basis.
I can say the same thing about you, and I do say this. I think it's morally wrong to be saying that in some circumstances, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds can get married to adults.
But you don't even believe that. You don't even believe that because you said 15 times.
Yes, I do.
You don't even believe that because you said a child is somebody not physically mature, an adult is
The
somebody mature.
textbook definition of a child is through puberty. However, anything under 18, as I've said a million times, is...
I also just like that he keeps saying that when that's not the thing he said, like, at all, ever. He doesn't listen to a fucking word anybody says at all.
Under is a child.
We've also established why that's silly. We've also established why silly that is.
Mature 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old.
But 17 they can be physically mature?
I'm giving examples. No, 17 is well, no.
17 they can't be physically mature? Okay. Then what you're saying, what you believe, is literally incorrect and factually wrong, because they can. They can, and that's just true. There's no point in going in circles. Maybe we can go from here, man. I appreciate this. And no, I don't dislike you. I want to say that. I do think that you look at the trending page and you follow an opinion, and then that's when you make your video. I think you followed whatever popular, because you don't want to get canceled. And that's why guys like me who have strong opinions about something. That's why we get banned everywhere. I'm banned on Instagram, I'm banned on YouTube, I'm banned on TikTok, I'm banned on all these places because I have to hard set its own stuff. The stuff you believe in is already kind of the consensus of the entire world. Because I think you're afraid of cancel culture. I think that's why you took long to talk about precisely, because like the biggest YouTuber on the platform is literally promoting some of the most demonic ideology possible.
Provably wrong. I actually was faster to that than Dr. Disrespect. But the point is, I'm just a normal guy and I give my opinions on things. I don't follow anything. In my eyes, you follow a crowd. You follow a contrarian belief system.
That's what. It's not contrarian.
The same
Right now I'm in Turkey.
you just follow the contrarian.
It's not contrarian. Right now I'm in Turkey and I'm happier than I've been in a long time. Can you see like how much happier I don't know, my community can. When I'm in Florida, when I'm around Shaydan, when I'm around this like cut your dick off world, I get angry. When I'm here, when I'm around my people, I was in the masjid today, was Juma prayer.
He said he lived in America earlier.
I went to high school. When I'm around Muslims, I'm not a contrarian. I agree with them. I put my head to the floor at the same time as them. I recite Surah Fatiha at the same time as them. I'm one of a lot of people who believe in the same thing. Islam is the fastest growing religion. It's one of the biggest religions in the world. I'm not contrarian to them at all. I admit and I submit to Allah. And I say that this is the only religion that's true. I believe in this completely. And whatever God says, I will follow. That's not contrarian. I follow God. I'm a slave to God. I'm a servant to God.
Why are you the only one that keeps getting banned when so many people follow this religion?
You know who else gets banned? You know what's funny? Like other religious, like outspoken religious people. Nick Fuentes is an outspoken Catholic. Banned everywhere. Everywhere. What do you say? What do you do? You know what's funny? Chris Tyson, who you believe is good.
It's because you fucking hate Jews, bro. Fucking be honest. Just be honest about the shit that you say. You fucking don't like Jewish people. It's that simple.
Confirmed pedophile, still out on Instagram, still out on YouTube, Mr. Beast who platform still out on YouTube, number one social media channel. Listen. Alex Jones, Christian, very public about it, banned everywhere. Andrew Tate, Muslim, banned everywhere. All the people that get banned are God-fearing. They don't want us to believe in God, Moist. They want us to be sad and sloppy and slow and taking in the vaccines and doing everything that I got banned. Everything that I got banned for is now true. I said that the vaccine causes myocarditis in 2022, and now it does. I said they rigged the election against Trump in 2020. You can now say that. When I said you could have said it, that were the 2 strikes I got. Instagram, they said, I don't know. They didn't even give me a message. TikTok, they don't even give me a message. They say hateful ideology. They don't even explain why. They push the clips that are negative so people like you think I'm hateful. I'm telling you, the people like you are supposed to believe I'm hateful because they want to push you as far away from God. Even though you were baptized and you grew up Catholic, you should go back to your religion, man. I really hope you do.
You keep saying Catholic. Never Catholic. Point is though, Christian. I think we're about to wrap.
He said he was Catholic like 3 times, bro. After he said he wasn't.
So talking. Nick Fuentes. You just dropped that name. Are you a big supporter of Nick Fuentes?
He's gonna be the next president. He's gonna be future president of the United States of America. It's inevitable.
So for someone that
he's gonna be the next president, bro's an idiot.
Is all about love.
Yeah.
He is. Do you think he spreads love?
100%.
He doesn't. Like he doesn't even agree with your existence. He doesn't like race mixing.
Mm-hmm. Not liking race mixing. He doesn't hate me.
He does. But he actually does.
No, he doesn't. I know he's a good friend of mine. We're friends.
No.
He doesn't believe that you should exist.
Brother, he is vocal about being against race mixing.
He wants to continue the white race because the Zionists are trying to destroy the white race. They encourage. I understand his point of view 100%. Do I agree with his views completely? No. Does he agree with my views completely? No. We're different religions. This person is the future president of America because white people are being decimated right now. All of Europe is being completely diluted very quickly in America. The immigrants are flooding through. Like there's no sense of a white identity anymore. You're white. You're not. Are you white?
Bro's pulling the Uncle Tom here.
Yeah.
You're not even allowed to say white power. Isn't that crazy?
I would never want to.
Isn't that wild? Black people get
no, it's not wild.
You know what black people get? Wakanda forever. Black lives matter. Black power. Black pride. They are allowed to.
Bro, it's because there's a different fucking, oh my god. And you know what's crazy is people would feel odd about someone being like a black Israelite, about someone being like Nation of Islam. Like those things would make people raise eyebrows a little bit because of the things that they've done in the past. But no, Like, bro, what are you fucking talking about? Like,
say that. They brainwash white people to be ashamed. Chris Tyson is so ashamed of being a white person who has so much privilege, he chops his penis off to become a minority. I'm telling you, the reason that people like Nick Fuentes get called a hateful person all the time is because people, the atheists, were supposed to believe that. If you listen to his rhetoric, he's a pure Catholic. You know what Catholics believe? Love everybody. Love speech. Where did I get that idea? At Yay 24, working with Nick and Yay. Love speech. That's a Christian.
Nick fucking literally hates himself. Nicholas Fuentes his name is fucking Fuentes. His last name is fucking Fuentes. He's half fucking Mexican or whatever. I'm literally like the same mix as Nick Fuentes. I think we're like almost the same age too. I would beat the dog life out of him. Like I would literally beat the dog water out of his mouth. Like it's I'm in Minecraft. Obviously I would never harm a hair on that boy's head. But what I'm saying is it's just ridiculous to be so fucking hateful and so fucking against things that when you are a product of those things, you would literally not exist, and you think that's a better option? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Belief. Say white power. Say white. It's okay to be white. It's okay to be white.
No, he believes in fucking nationalism, but not just nationalism. He believes in like racial separatism. He's a racial separatist. He believes that white people should live in their own country and black people should live in their own country and Mexican people should live in their own country and Asians and fucking blah, 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 and Russians, blah, blah, blah. I said Asians as if there's not a ton of Asians. You get what I mean. The Chinese and the Indians and the all types of different Asians. But you get me. I'm just fucking... He literally believes in separatism, and that is wrong on every level.
That was a shocking segment there. I feel like that just contradicts what you claim. Like
saying white power?
Well, yeah, that for one, and B.
Well, why is it hateful to say white power?
What do you mean? We don't even have to go down. This is a
simple question. You can say white power, Wakanda forever.
White power has connotations in history where people would be legitimately racist and kill people of color. Mm-hmm. Like white power is not, it's not like an identity thing. That's a historical awful thing.
Are you proud to be white?
What?
Are you proud to be white?
I don't care. Like my skin color doesn't matter. Skin color has never been something that matters to me. I view all people the same way.
Are you proud to be American?
Yeah, again, I'm fine with all these things. I'm proud of all these things.
Are you proud to be white?
Yeah, like I just said, it's totally like I think that's fine.
I don't think America has almost anything to do with being white because, I mean, it did in the past. It did for like a short period of time, and then it's just weird. Yeah, America's just kind of fucked if you really think about it because historically, yeah, it was a very racist country, but then it became the mixing pot, the melting pot of the world, and that's why America is fucking amazing. God, long live America. Death to the power, but long live America.
Being white, I'm happy about it. The same way I view everyone else's skin color. There's nothing, like there's no, like saying white power isn't just saying like, oh, it's cool to be white. You are literally drawing on historical hatred. That's not what that means. Him being an advocate for white power.
He doesn't even say white power.
Sneako. Right. It's a totally separate thing.
He doesn't hate race mixing, or else
he is vocal about hating race mixing.
That's just not.
He thinks that race mixing is wrong. He thinks that it is as bad as having sex with an animal. He thinks that it's the same level of degeneracy as having sex with the... Or, sorry, he doesn't think that it's the same level of degeneracy. He just thinks that they are both degenerate acts. That race mixing is a degenerate act in the same way, at least comparatively, that having sex with a dog is a degenerate act.
He doesn't hate it. It is. It's not true.
He has said it multiple times.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't encourage it.
No, he outright bemoans it. He does not. He doesn't.
He says white people should not race mix so they can continue the white race. And I agree with that.
And you don't see
the same reason Japanese people should continue to have Japanese children and they should be proud to be Japanese, all this stuff. Same reason white people should have pride in their identity. And it's okay. If you know who says all the time, black people are like,
it's not pride in the identity. It's actual hatred.
It's not hatred. Is it hateful to want to have kids that look like you?
No, that's not what he's saying either. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's a little weird too. I honestly think that when people talk about that, the likeness of your kids should not impact the love that you have for them. If you have to adopt every kid that you have, you should love them as much as a child that you bore on your own. Because, like, what matters is the values and the morals that you instill upon them. A community is not based in blood, it's based in words, it's based in actions, it's based in community. That's what we're based in. So trying to like wash that out by going like, well, don't you want your kids to look like you? No. I could give a fuck less. What I will hope is that the children that I do have are able to listen to the words that I have to give them and are able to take them and move forward and advance upon them and create something greater than what I was able to create. So
show me the clip where he says I hate race mixing.
You can just type it in right now, but
Type it
here,
in. Show
he
me.
is very open against race mixing.
Against is not hate. You just change your definition.
It's the same.
No, it's not.
So you can be against, okay, he disagrees with race mixing, and you think that's okay?
Disagrees. Exactly. I think that's fine.
Why?
Because you can have your opinion as long as it's not hateful. If he wants to further the white race and all this stuff, if he wants to have nationalistic beliefs, fine, go ahead. I'm not going to tell you stop. Same reason we Japanese people should continue to ban. If you can find a couple that says hate,
When they said race mixing should be reported to the FBI, that seems a little more than a disagreement.
that's clearly a joke, bro. That's clearly a joke.
Oh, now it's a joke when there's a clip of it.
Okay. Okay. Do you? Okay. You're gonna really sit here and say that he unironically believes that race mixing should be reported to the FBI? No, be real, because that's so obviously facetious. And this is why clips.
Oh my god, it's a joking statement that is showing that he is against it more than just not liking it. Saying that, oh, I think it should be reported to the FBI. Even if that's a fucking joke, if you know that he's against it, that would show that he's against it to a higher degree than just not liking it. Because he's not saying, oh, I would, like, why do you want to fucking preserve the white race in general? That's fucking weird. That's stupid. I don't want to preserve the white race. I want to preserve my fucking bloodline. Not even my bloodline. That's the thing. My namesake. I want to preserve the namesake. If I can make my children, regardless of the bloodline, even if I adopt, even if my best friend dies in a terrible accident, I have to foster their child. I hope to instill the proper values upon them, and maybe one day they'll want to take upon my name, and they'll honor their father in a different way or whatever, you know. But they'll carry on my legacy. They'll carry on their father's legacy in life, but my legacy and name or whatever, you know. There's a million ways that you can preserve yourself historically without it being about fucking being white. Like, that's fucking stupid. Caring about the whiteness and being like, well, see, we won because that guy won. When you're living in the fucking slums and those guys are living in fucking mansions, is so stupid. When you're fucking recording out of your mom's basement talking about how fucking the Zionists are evil, like, shut the fuck up.
Headlines of this is why fake Zionist news like controls the minds of people. Do you actually believe that he thinks people should call the FBI and say I'm reporting race mixing? Do you believe that, or was he being facetious?
He's being exaggeratory for his hatred.
Okay, he's making a joke.
Based on how much he dislikes race mixing, Sneako, it's not just a disagreement.
Okay, well, that's not a Catholic belief. And if you look at his bio, it says Catholic is America first, right? And the Catholic belief, which he would submit to, and if you ask him, he would submit to, he would say I'm a Catholic first. He believes you should love everyone. There's no hatred. Love speech. Love everybody.
He doesn't love everyone.
Okay,
that's all right.
I'm telling you, he does. I mean, if you why don't you just ask, instead of believing headlines from fake Zionist news, why don't you just ask him?
It's just his own show.
Why don't you call him and ask him?
Okay.
You wouldn't.
I'd talk to him, I guess, but I have nothing to say to him, man. Like, for you, I wanted to understand where you were coming from with the age of consent. For Nick Fuentes, I know where he's coming from. There's nothing to learn. With you,
There's nothing
you
to learn.
seemed...
Why? I just taught you something. You thought he hated race mixing, and I just proved
He does.
it.
You didn't disprove it.
Show me the proof.
I'll start linking articles.
Show me the proof.
You're such a fucking like semantic baby, like, bro. I want to smack you. I want to smack you like your mother never did. Like the fact you're going, he doesn't hate them, he dislikes it. He dislikes it. That's not hate. Hate is based on, and he didn't say the words I hate race mixing. That means he doesn't hate it. Like, you're such a fucking baby, bro. You're actually like a baby. You're actually getting me tilted with how fucking like much of a crybaby little bitch you are. Like. He didn't say hate.
Race mixing is a normal thing run by Jews media. Like, there's so many clips.
Where does he say he hates race mixing?
So he needs to say that verbatim? He can't just talk about it?
You're not allowed to put words in his mouth.
What's that?
You can't put words in his mouth.
So he needs to say the word hate?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all right. That makes sense then.
Hmm?
Okay, that seems like a lot.
You found nothing, right?
Fine.
You found nothing?
Huh?
You found nothing where it says I hate race mixing.
This is 1,000% Sneako's issue.
I found plenty of things where he talks about how horrible race mixing is, but as of right now, with the control F on the brief search, the word hate wasn't used.
What else
Just everything about the great replacement theory and how disgusted he is with race mixing.
Does it say disgusted? Where does it say disgusted?
Here, it's in this article. In the great replacement theory, where he talks about, this one's new, this one's from a week ago.
Does it exist?
Here, right here. This is the one about the supporting the white identity.
Can you read the hatred? Can you read the hatred to me?
I just said there's no hatred verbatim.
Okay, so you're wrong.
Just
So this is the reason why you need to talk to cancel people like us, because you were just wrong. You said he hated it, and you were proven wrong.
Right now, call him and ask him if he hates race mixing.
Call him.
Okay, I want to hear if he hates it.
See if he picks up. He's kind of a bug man. He's not really up this late.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him right now. Even saying that is stupid.
Pretty much agree that that's more than just, oh, he doesn't see eye to eye with race mixing, which in and of itself is a horrible thing to disagree with. Race mixing is a totally fine thing. Like, your existence is not suitable for his beliefs, Sneako.
He doesn't hate me though. So this is the reason that maybe talk to
He
himself.
doesn't hate you, but he'd want to get rid of you.
He doesn't want to get rid of me.
If it was up to him, you think he'd keep you around, even though he doesn't like race mixing?
No, literally, he would want you in your own country, and he would be like, we can talk on the phone. We can talk on the phone every once in a while, but I don't really want to see you. I'd rather be surrounded by whites. That's what he wants.
Listen.
But you inbred fucks, like, bro.
So, because now we're both talking about another person, but the point is...
That's true. Yeah, that's
like, the point is, like, okay, just text me back. I really can't talk about it. Okay, it's fine. Maybe, but yeah. Yeah, it's important to talk to cancel people like this because you have access to the biggest platform. And again,
I'm always willing to talk to people.
yeah, you are, but most people aren't. Most people aren't because you're probably not even going to be able to upload this on YouTube channel, which is fine. It's not going to get the millions of people. We'll see if you upload it, but are you upload it? You're not.
I probably will. Yeah, I did the last one. Like,
You edited it up,
to
though.
you.
You cut it up.
I gave you the full thing so you could post the full thing. The only reason I did that was so it wasn't just a one-to-one from it, that's all.
Okay,
but it's still all of our conversation.
The point is, though, there's a specific type of person that dominates the platforms, and it's becoming really easy to spot nowadays, right? The queen of Twitch, the king of Twitch, in a sense, Pokimane. If you even go to, I just got unbanned on Twitch. If you look at the creator dashboard, you see her face right there as if she's the CEO. The number one YouTuber in the world is Mr. Beast, and he promotes transgenderism. Pokimane believes in transgenderism. She also didn't call it Chris Tyson. There's a specific narrative that they're so clearly trying to put.
I also like that he wants him to upload the full fucking thing when it's like, bro, nobody's gonna watch the full thing. I'm watching the full thing, and nobody's gonna even watch my reaction of it. I'm watching this because it's like I wanted to hear your actual point, and you fucking just ran fucking circles around yourself, and then he's fucking just kind of babbling to nothing at all. It's just a bunch of bullshit and kind of stupid.
Algorithm favor. The people that get banned are always people like me, always people like us, people that love everyone, people that love God, people that want marriage, you want a better society. The people that are allowed want kids to cut their penises off, and it's not an accident. It's very intentional.
I disagreed with a vast majority of that, man. I'm sorry to tell
So
you.
okay, let me ask you, why am I banned?
You're banned because you come across as a very hateful person, Sneako.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that you like to think that you're not, but everything you say is. Like, you're right now defending someone who openly, as much as you want to deny it, does not like your existence.
That's not true. You found examples of that one. Second, why do you think I was banned on Instagram?
I don't know what you post on Instagram. I have no clue.
Right, I,
have no
I
idea.
never even got political. I never said it. I never even spoke on Instagram. I posted pictures. My pictures were
I
like,
have no clue.
yeah.
And I've always been a stronger.
Here, let's do this real quick. Show me where Nick Fuentes said that he doesn't like race mixing. Race. Oh, call leak. I put Reese. I just want the fucking call leak. Oh, this is a fucking different call. Or it's not a call leak. What am I talking about? It's not a call. It's literally a meeting conversation leak. Race mixing. Not able to find this on YouTube, huh? I just need that quote. Because literally he said... Shit. When just killing legislators who were unwilling to overturn the election results. Yeah, he seems like a very loving person. Trying to get this fucking exact statement. Race mixing. Dog statement. Is it in this one? That's the thing that becomes hard when you start banning people, though. When you start banning people, you make it harder to find the things to prove what they're doing is wrong. Control F. Let's see if dog is on here. Dog isn't on here, bro. I want the specific fucking statement. Because literally, I've heard the video, I've heard the audio before. Okay, is this it?
You said that Nick is a white supremacist. I'm curious to like what he said specifically.
Oh my god, I just want the fucking audio clip. Oh my god. Nick Fuentes compares black men to dogs. Oh my god, everyone's gonna be like, it doesn't exist, does it? It doesn't exist. I've literally heard the audio for myself, and all he says is, somebody fucking recorded me.
You said that Nick is a white supremacist.
So she gets her phone out and starts recording and says, "Hey, Nick, so do you think that having sex with a black guy is the same as having sex with a dog?" So I didn't say that. Those bullets were not.
It's just bullshit. It's just literally bullshit. Oh my god. He said it's a degenerate act. He said they're both degenerate acts. And he's also backed that up. Amazing. I'm sure this is a joke.
I am
too.
a Donald Trump cultist. I am a soldier for Donald Trump. I serve at the personal pleasure of.
He's just like such a fucking. Literally, there's no better word than a fucking groiper.
Proponent of anti-censorship. I don't think people should be banned, but like for things like just speaking what they want to speak, as long as it's not threatening.
I couldn't find the clip. I know. I couldn't find the actual video of it. Oh no, woe is me. Call me a liar. Call me a fucking Zionist pawn. I don't give a shit. Good for you.
As long as it's not like attacking or leading.
Should Chris Tyson be banned on YouTube?
What was that? Sorry, you cut out.
Should Chris Tyson be banned on YouTube?
Yeah, at the very least, demonetized, because at that point it is dangerous to the audience. That is someone who was preyed upon, a child, and in the audience there's children.
Do you think he's gonna be banned on YouTube?
I have no clue.
He's not.
There's no way of knowing.
Do you think I should be reinstated?
Isn't either.
Okay. Do you think I'm gonna be reinstated on YouTube?
I don't think so. Probably not.
Yeah, funny, right? I never.
And I didn't agree with the deplatforming on YouTube either.
Funny how that
I
works.
said that before.
Yeah, it can never be more clear, like how obvious the agenda is. Satanic people who have some sort of.
Disrespects immediately the monkey wrench in that.
Well, I mean, has there been any proof of anything?
Of what?
Of what he did? And also, if we're gonna follow that line of thinking, like what he did was wrong. We're gonna see what happened. But again, like the hypocrisy from all the creators to jump on the bandwagon and hate him and not say a word about Chris Tyson is jarring. And everybody saw it. Did you not see that?
Been talking about Ava Tyson's situation. Like I feel like almost every single person.
Did you see the difference in how your fellow Twitch creators like Pokemon, Valky Ray, Sneako, these people that dominate Twitch? Did you see the difference in how they treated Dr. Disrespect and how they treated Chris Tyson?
They called out the behavior. They called it out in both situations.
You think it was the same?
But one of them is a little different because the hatred against Ava Tyson was used beyond the situation. So there was more to talk about there.
Like, do you think that
attack others outside of it?
You think that overall creators spoke about Chris Tyson the same way they spoke about Dr. Disrespect?
I guess it's hard to say for sure because I only saw a lot of the discussion that was happening on Twitter around me because it was flooded about everything I did wrong. Okay. So I may have missed quite a bit.
That was a fair balance.
What's that?
You thought it was fair the amount of people that condemned Dr. Disrespect, but also condemned.
I feel like everyone that condemned Dr. Disrespect has also condemned Ava Tyson.
You really think it was equal?
From what I saw, yeah.
Okay, it wasn't. What about the people that called Sketch Hero when he was exposed for doing gay porn?
That's such a non-issue.
I know, but do you see? I saw the entire industry come and say, "You're so brave. You're the best." I saw JC.
So many people like you were saying how awful it is.
I never said that. I think it's great that he found God. He found Christianity. That's good. But I saw JC shed crocodile tears for the fact that Sketch showed black dick, and I didn't see him shed one tear for Chris messaging kids. It's just like, where are people's morality at? Like, when it comes to Gaza kids getting bombed, nothing, not a word. When it comes to Sketch
situations is so interesting to me. So, like, for example, the example you used there, I'll touch on in a minute. But for me, I did have something up about Ava within the first 6 hours of everything breaking, and then you immediately spun that as me just keeping it there and would never talk about it publicly. And then I did, and you're like, oh, I wasn't.
I think I pressured you and a lot of creators, and I take credit for pressure. A lot of people speak about it. I think if I wasn't so vocal about it, I don't think a lot of people would have said a fucking word.
You're totally welcome to have that belief. And then the way you just looked at Jinxie, you take the
You're such a child, bro. He thinks he runs the world. He thinks everybody is fucking looking at what Sneako's doing before they make a decision on if they should talk about something or not.
Uncharitable, most vitriolic approach to interpreting.
He should get checked for brain worms, like legitimately.
People respond to things because you look at people in a negative way.
I don't.
You do.
I know. I saw he posted a crocodile tear on TikTok. He posted a Snapchat. He posted a YouTube video. He cried on Twitch. Everywhere he could. Sketch, like there was on every single social media.
His best friend attacked by everyone else until people were willing to come forward and defend him. The first.
Who attacked him? Who attacked him?
You can't.
Who attacked Sketch?
So many.
Can you name one?
Yeah, Myron.
What do you say?
I don't remember. He was in the
You don't remember?
lab. Nope, but there was a ton.
I think he called out the hypocrisy. If you can like remember a specific. What did he say? What did Tommy say?
He said that they should all be shot.
Nope, that was 2 months before that. That was a clip out of context. He said that I think about when XQC was putting on dresses and talking about how it's okay to kiss guys. Like maybe it was before that. He said that much before. That clip was.
Okay, but that clip was then resurfaced and being used to. It wasn't about Sketch though. It wasn't about Sketch though. And he did say Sketches. He called Sketch the fucking F slur. He did say that.
Not there.
So.
Combi's been. I talked about it. Combi's been defending Sketch.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't see that. See,
Yeah,
so what?
He totally called him the fucking F slur first. So there you go.
What creator was dogpiling on Sketch?
I just named one. Myron.
You don't even know what he said.
I don't know. How am I gonna remember what he said verbatim?
I just remembered Sketch crying verbatim and saying, "Sketch, I'm so proud of you." I remember that.
Bro, Jinxie literally cried because Sketch was talking about killing himself.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't see what's wrong with that.
I don't know how it wasn't that long ago.
He didn't do anything
The
wrong.
point is, like, if there was dogpiling, you would remember specific quotes and you remember something that.
I really wouldn't. It was like a month ago.
Yeah. See, there was like a fake idea. This is what happened. There was a fake idea that people were dogpiling, when in reality there were like a couple of incels commenting, but every.
Bro, it's literally all the comment sections are literally just go look at his comment section. Yeah, no big creators are coming out and being like, yeah, I fucking hate gay people. He's such a fucking degenerate piece of shit for making gay porn. But all of the comments were that. And it's because of things like Sneako has said. It's because he says, oh, it's so bad. I'm glad he found God. But what the fuck? He's taking black dick and being a fucking being gay. It's like, bro, you're encouraging people to talk in this fucking way. Again, another perfect fucking screen grab. Like, look at this.
Single creator who collabed with him once said, "You're the best trophy," just like Caitlyn Jenner won Woman of the Year after killing somebody with his car. Like we start to celebrate these people as if they're so brave for doing what? They didn't even do anything. You looking for the dog piles? I want to see it.
I'm just going through quite a bit of them. It's just these aren't big accounts that you would know. So
Not big accounts. I remember all the big accounts celebrating it. This is what I'm talking about, right? And all these people collabed with Mr. Beast and stood right next to Chris Tyson celebrating.
It's just so like, bro, who cares? That want to know why the big creators? Because they know that you don't get fucking famous by dogpiling and shitting on somebody smaller for doing something that wasn't a big deal. Why should they fucking? And I hate that he's even like talking about this. Why should they even dogpile on it? For what?
There's very clearly an agenda to get kids to cut their dicks off, and I'm tired of it. And I think this is what else we should know. We're tired of kids cutting their penises off. Tired of Moist.
We're just not going to see eye to eye on shit, brother. And that's just the way it's got to be, I guess.
Never happened.
This was all right, man. Clips on
That was
that.
interesting.
That was interesting. How long were you at before?
That was like a 2.5 hour yap sesh.
Yeah. Hey, let's do it again in a year, huh?
The annual yap sesh?
The annual Clips versus Mags.
All right, that sounds good. But one more time for the one time.
I know, for real though, like I don't hate you. God bless you and guide you. I think that I do think you have a good heart. So I hope you keep pushing a positive message and doing the right thing.
While you can't look at him in the fucking face, even when he's not even looking in his direction. Fucking coward.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
I'll
look
at him
down the line.
like this. I'll look into the camera's eye, so I'm looking at him directly while I'm speaking. If I was ever speaking to Sneako, I'd talk to him like this to scare him.
See that even though you might not recognize it now, there are people you surround yourself with that are hateful. Even if you yourself are not, if it all is just misconstrued, there are people around you that legitimately do come from a very bad place.
And I will be quick to leave you if you can show me a shred of evidence. Take it easy.
All right, sounds good, man.
Whew.
Oh my god. Oh, that was fucking 3 hours and 13 minutes for me. We looked at a couple things. Sneako's just a fucking stupid liar, but Charlie didn't know what he was talking about either. So I'm gonna call this here. That was that. My god.
Yeah.